Welcome on into our live NFL draft coverage as we break down day 2 of the 2025 NFL draft. Reed's going to recap all the picks that were made so far in round 2 as we get towards pick 51 when the Denver Broncos are on the clock. Right now it's Buffalo on the clock. However, ESPN has told the commissioner to pause so they can do a quick Tyler Shuck interview as the Saints took a quarterback at 40, the man out of Louisville. So we'll recap what's happened so far in round number 2. TJ Sanders, the pick at 41, but we can go all the way back to 33 with the Browns making the very first selection in round number 2, which was Carson Schlesinger, followed by Jaden Higgins, who I think is like Nico Collins. So they have 2 Nico Collins. That's a problem. Nicky Manwari might be my favorite pick so far from a value standpoint. I thought he could go top 20. The Legion of Boom might get their new safety. Quinshon Judkins, the Ohio State back, stays in Ohio. He goes up to Cleveland, and I think is going to be their immediate starting running back. Then the Dolphins get a guard. The TreVeyon Henderson goes a few picks later to New England. Chicago takes Luther Burden, one of the biggest playmakers in this draft. Just an absolute problem with the ball in his hands. And then New Orleans takes the 3rd quarterback, Tyler Shuck. We saw Cam Ward go first overall. Jackson Dart to the Giants at 25. And now Tyler Shuck to New Orleans. The Bills, after trading up with the Bears at 41, select TJ Sanders, defensive tackle out of South Carolina. So that's where things stand right now. Let's peek at some of the best players available as the Broncos inch closer and closer to their pick. Next up on the clock is the New York Jets. They went offensive line in round 1. Maybe they want to go with, could be a receiver. They've got Garrett Wilson. But here are the best players available. There are some good players here. But, injury concerns, character concerns, I just think he's properly rated right now, which is, hey, you're kind of a pass rush specialist. So you go mid-round 2. Now we're mid-round 2. Xavier Watts, properly rated, right? These are not too out of the ordinary. But these two, I can't make sense of. Because on the field, they should be round 1 locks. But knee and hamstring and 2 sexual assault allegations, that's why they're available at 42. Appreciate everyone for watching, whether you're on our Broncos stream or our Browns stream. We're doing a simulcast right now as I cover both teams for Chat Sports, so live on both of our channels with the same picture going to both streams. Do me a big favor, click that like button if you're just joining us right now. All right, Broncos country, who do you want Denver to take? I think for Denver, the pick should be Kaleb Johnson. I had a lot of people get mad at me for not saying that they could take Quinshon Judkins at 51. And I was like, I don't think Quinshon Judkins leaves the top 50. And sure enough, he goes 36 to Cleveland. So we'll recap what the Browns have done so far and then what the Broncos have coming up in this draft as well. I'm seeing Desire Best say Kaleb Johnson. Aiden says Kaleb Johnson. Will Johnson coming in. Pick is in for the New York Jets. We'll peek at that. But let me know who you want your team to draft. Cleveland, you got 2 third-round picks. Denver, you're picking soon. Pick is in for the Jets. We'll take a peek at that. Mason Taylor, tight end from LSU. He's a really good receiving tight end. He's the son of Jason Taylor and the nephew of Joy Taylor. So good bloodline right there. But Mason Taylor, Mason Taylor, he was a really accomplished tight end for the LSU Tigers. I mean, just looking at his stats right now, over 3-4 years in Baton Rouge, the guy had 1,300 yards, 6 touchdowns, which, listen, those don't seem like big numbers, but for a 3-year starter, I mean, tight ends don't get a ton of attraction. So 3-star recruit, freshman All-SEC. By his junior year, he was a 3rd-team All-SEC, but he's a big dude, 6'5", 246. He may not have the best red zone skill set, but overall he was Mr. Reliable for LSU. And so Justin Fields now, the new quarterback in New York, gets a Mr. Reliable tight end with Mason Taylor. Yeah. Super chat coming in. Anyone that's tuning in on our Broncos stream right now, if you want to get on screen for everyone watching to see super chat, and we'll throw it on for all of our great viewers. So if you want to support the channel with your comment, your question, your take, your idea, super chat, and we'll get right to it. Papa T, haven't had a stud middle linebacker for some time. See how it goes. Quinshon Judkins rocks. Chubb forever. Yeah, I like the Judkins pick. I like the running back pick. Would it have been the same pick I made at running back? No, but I'm going to trust the Browns probably have a better sense of the backs in this class than I do. Does Denver go Kaleb Johnson? Man, I sure hope so for the Broncos. I think Kaleb Johnson's going to be an outstanding back. And the Broncos need a new running back. I think Sean Payton would have preferred a back that could have been more of a role type of back in a committee field. I mean, I don't think that's really Johnson's forte, but you're running out of running backs. That was the risk you made when you passed down Omarion Hampton for Jahdae Barron. Very French sounding. Jahdae. Luther Burden off the board. He went to Chicago. We've got 790 people tuned in on our Browns stream, 256 people tuned in on our Broncos stream. Papa T, Sanders is a buy one, get two. Team's uneasy about that pick. You know, I don't think that buy two part is true. He just signed a big extension with Colorado. I think if he was actually, really serious about following his son to the NFL and being his coach there too, he would have not signed an extension. So I think he is willing to kind of part ways to a degree. Sure, there's always a buyout, but for the foreseeable future, at least the next year or two, I don't think that's the case. We got Desire Best with his $2 super chat. First one from our Broncos stream. But AFX, would you be fine with Sanders in the third? At that point, yeah. It's worth the reward. The risk is worth the reward. If it doesn't work out and he's not an NFL quarterback, I can't be too upset with a wasted third-round pick. You took Anthony Schwartz in round 3. In some ways, that did set you back, but not for the reasons you're thinking. If Shedeur is there in round 3, I'm okay with that pick. Johnson and Barron would be amazing. Need a running back. Kaleb Johnson would be a fun pick for Denver. Get a workhorse back. Get someone... Denver has not had a 100-yard rusher in a game since Latavius Murray at the very end of the 2022 season. In January of 2023. It's been 2+ calendar years. It's insane. In the modern era, you play 17 games. You can't have one game with a 100-yard rusher. Kaleb Johnson, I think, does it game 1. Here are the top running backs available. My preference would be Kaleb Johnson and then Dylan Sampson. Not a lot of RJ Harvey love, no. '49ers on the clock at 43. San Francisco went with Michael Williams, edge rusher from Georgia, last night. I think they go offensive line tonight. Who's this making the pick for San Francisco? Julian Peterson. I don't even know my own cousin.
Does Kaleb Johnson get past these 3 teams? Because the Niners aren't going to go. Colts probably aren't either.
I could see the Rams take... Oh, Kaleb Johnson, sorry.
Yeah, Kaleb Johnson, sorry.
Pick is in for the 49ers, and it is someone that I talked a lot about for Denver in round 2. It is Texas defensive tackle Alfred Collins. He is 6'5", 330 pounds, and he's got lightning quick feet. 5-star recruit, big-time player coming out of high school. Doesn't really break out to his last year with the Longhorns, but he had a very nice 2024 season. Good pick by the 49ers, who continue to invest in the defensive side of the ball, going with Mykel Williams in round 1 and now Alfred Collins in round 2. Good pick by San Francisco. Jordan Elliott, you're in trouble. Dallas is now on the clock at 44. Joe, I see your super chat. We'll get to it in a second here. What if Dallas takes Shedeur? All right, ready? Here's a scenario. Dallas takes Shedeur. They plan to use Brian Schottenheimer for just 1 year and then dump him like Gerard Mayo for like a new Gerard Mayo situation, and then they bring Deion to Dallas next year. Joshua Miller, Sanders served humble pie, big chip on his shoulder. You know, I do feel like Shedeur's kind of been made out as like a villain during this process the last 12 hours. I don't think he's a bad guy, but apparently he had some horrible interviews. We've got a super chat coming in on our Broncos channel. Joe, is Riley Moss the reason we drafted Barrett? No. I don't think that Jahdae Barron's playing outside corner in the NFL. I think if someone's in trouble, it's Jaquan McMillan. I think Barron's going to float between nickel and safety. Joe, thank you so much for your super chat. Dakota with a $5 super. Dallas's pick is in. What are the Cowboys going to do? If they go Shedeur, this place is going to burn down. If they go with Shedeur, I'm calling it right now. Deion's the head coach in 10 months. They dump Shoddy after 1 year, and they get Shedeur and Deion together. Dakota, what do you think about the Broncos drafting Cam Skattebo? I think Skattebo goes round 4. I just feel like the lack of speed, while he was awesome in college, is going to be too big of a red flag for teams in the pros. Sorry, my back is just kind of killing. So, being an old man right now. I got the director's chair. Yeah, maybe like round 3. Yeah, I don't think Cam Skattebo is going to happen, though. I don't know how well that game's going to, like, he was so tough to bring down. He did so much for Arizona State, but, like, is that going to work well at the next level? I'm more, like, half glass empty than half glass full. Next super chat coming in. Corey Dots, Elijah Arroyo, and Jared Ivey in the 3rd.
I don't hate that.
Elijah Arroyo, the Miami tight end, was really good last year when he was finally healthy. Cleveland's drafted one Miami tight end before. Why not another one? I would not be upset with an Arroyo pick. It just comes down to the injury factor. Are you comfortable with, a guy who had knee injuries in colleges? The pick is in for Dallas, and it's a good pick. It is. It is the Boston College defensive end, Donovan Ezoroku. So let's give you some background on him. He finished just behind Mike Green in sacks last year across the country, 16.5. He's not your traditional defensive end, like edge rusher size. He's a little bit on the smaller end, which is why I think he falls to mid-round 2. But he's going to be really good on third down passing situations. And Dallas' defense has lost a couple of pass rushers, right, over free agency the last 2 years. So, as Oroku, welcome to the Big D. Broncos pick coming up soon. They pick at 51. We'll recap what Cleveland and Denver has done so far in the draft. Get Petey a chair. So here are the Browns' first 3 picks, and we'll look at their remaining picks for the day 2 portion of the draft. But Mason Graham to trade back with the Jags, Carson Schlesinger, and then Quinshon Judkins. And they've got pick 67 coming up, followed by pick 94, pick 104. Nearly 6 picks in the top 100, 5 in the top 100, 6 in the top 105 if you want to move the goalposts. They also have an extra, they got a lot of picks still. They have a boatload of picks. I expect them to use some of these picks. I don't think they pick here, 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 and here. They're going to use some of these picks to move around a little bit. So Indianapolis is on the clock. They went Tyler Warren in round 1. What do the Broncos expect Indy to do here? Not go running back. So Donovan Ezeraku. $392 people tuned in on our Broncos stream right now. Only 57 likes. Can we get to 100 likes? On our Brown stream, we have 490 likes. Can we get to 500? Need 10 more from the Dog Pound. I need 43 more from Broncos Country. Demented Tree, great to see you. The $5 super chat. All right. At this point, Broncos should double down and grab Will Johnson too. Dude, I would not be opposed. I mean, like, it could be one of those things where you look back and Will Johnson's a Pro Bowl and you're like, how do they pass on him? It's like, well, at the time they had Pat Surtain. Obviously, he's not going anywhere. They already drafted one corner in the first round. Did you want to trade Riley Moss too? Or Mike Green? Pick is in for Indianapolis. I'm in. I want to guess it. Is it offense or defense? Defense, give me Mike Green? No? Yeah, let's see it. Oh. Okay. Good pick, good pick, good pick. JT Tuimoloau. The Ohio State defensive end. He had 6.5 sacks in the college football playoffs. 5-star recruit, a bit of a late bloomer, but he came to play this past season. He's not the best athlete in the world, but he's got high motor. He's got great production. He's got a knack for making plays. So he may not be the fastest, may not be the strongest, although he's pretty strong. But JTT, as the folks in Columbus learn to call him, goes to the Colts at 45. A lot of Buckeyes going off the board so far in round 2, right? Both Henderson, Judkins, and now JTT. So I like this draft for the Colts. Tyler Warren and JTT. Yeah. Another super chat coming in. Make sure you subscribe, by the way, if you haven't yet. Hey, nice job. Whoever read it out for the Colts, I guess, announcer, he nailed that pronunciation. JT Tuimoloau. See, I can't even do it right now under pressure. Tuimoloau. Tyler Payne, everyone's gone. What do you think we go for in the second? Let's look at the best available, Tyler. Because if you don't want to reach on a running back, you could go with a traditional BPA yet again. If they do go BPA, I really struggle to see them doing DB again.
Shedeur is creeping his way up into the top 5 best available.
I think it's got to be Kaleb Johnson. If they don't want to go with Kaleb Johnson, let's go with a few more because there's so many DBs available. Yeah, I tossed out Tate Ratledge this morning. That could be like a Ben Powers replacement. So that's a possibility. Or, yeah, I'll toss out the Stanford receiver, Io Manor. Good run blocker. He seems like a Sean Payton type guy. Or Trey Harris. The issue with Mike Green is where's he going to play? You've got Jonathan Cooper and Nick Bonito. I had the same logic. Rams are on the clock right now. Rams pick is in. Denver's coming up. They're at 51. Who did LA select? Terrence Ferguson. So no reunion with Bo Nix and Ferguson, who holds multiple Oregon tight end receiving records. He goes to the LA Rams. They're not going running back. They're not going running. They have Trey Benson and James Conner. They just took Ashton Genty. Who's after the Raiders, Reed? If you want, I don't think they go running back. They might. They could. They have Zach Moss. Chase Brown, I agree. They could. They're a possibility. I don't think they go running back. They've got 2. This is the one team standing in Denver's way of getting a running back. Kaleb Johnson. Be the pick, Denver. Be the pick. Who do you want the Broncos to take? Poop, Scoop, and Boogie with a $10 super chat on our Brown stream. I don't give a buck. Long time no see. Yeah, I tease him for you. Corey Dots. I think Jack Sawyer could fall to round 3 for sure. Yeah. I just think from a trait standpoint, he's probably not going to, jump up people's big boards. Poop, Scoop, and Boogie. Remember when I said let's not play crazy? What ifs? We're taking a QB at number 2. Yeah, my bad, dog. I guess our defense will be elite. I know you don't like him, but Milroe in round 3. Hey, I at this point, I'm open to any quarterback in round 3 because if you do miss on the guy, it's not going to be detrimental to the future of the team. You miss on 2, you miss on 33, that's going to hurt. That's going to sting. You miss on 67, get in line. Happens to every team pretty much every other year. Okay. I don't give a buck. Coming in from our Broncos stream. Hey, Petey, how's it going? In my opinion, I think we need a running back or wide receiver that goes well with Knicks. Also, hit that like button and subscribe. So when I was at the NFL Combine, I asked Sean Payton I want to say exactly how I worded it. Would a better running back or tight end complement Bo Nix specifically more? And Sean kind of made everyone laugh at me by saying, I think a good defense, I think good everything would help Bo. He basically called me a big idiot going, good players are going to help Bo Nix, no matter where they are. So I tried to get that out of him, and I was unsuccessful. I did get a question that I asked George Paton that solicited a good question. That might go down as my all-time favorite Big J moment. Cardinals on the clock at 47. Yeah. So, Reed, I'll actually let you read it. It's yours.
Let's go interesting right now. Every $100 super chat, I'm gonna do a beer bong. I'm a little thirsty right now.
I love the mentality.
I'm also, I love the draft.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And we're getting right into, and there it is.
Pick is in for the Cardinals. I have a question for the chat. Once we show the pick, I'll ask my question. Yep. I already saw it. I peeked out at the worst moment. Arizona at pick 47 has taken Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. Some viewed him as a top 10 player in this draft. How he falls to 47, I don't know, other than the injury concerns, which I guess must be grave. Here's my question. In my final mock draft, I had the Cardinals taking Will Johnson in round 1. Do I get any kind of credit for that? Or is it, nope, close but no cigar? In my mock draft, I had Arizona taking Will Johnson at pick 16. Do I get any kind of partial credit? I got the right team, just not the right number. Mike says no. You guys are not being very kind. I feel like I deserve half credit. Give me half credit. So Reed offering up $100, a beer bong for $100 super chat. I think we got one more super chat to catch up on here. Like the Terrence Ferguson pick, though. He went to the Rams just before Johnson. Good new option for Matthew Stafford. Like Tyler Higbee, I don't think is ever going to get back to what he was pre-injury. Raiders on the clock here at 48. Do they go Shedeur Sanders? Does Shedeur Sanders go in round 2? Yes or no? See, Ryan, Denver's only need is a running back. Sean Payton will get that in the next 2 rounds. Everything else is a bonus. Everyone chill. It's been a great offseason. See, Ryan, I don't disagree with this, but are you getting the preferred running back, right? Or are you getting a running back further down on your board because you waited? That's my whole point. Raiders on the clock at 48. Denver right around the corner at 51. Then Cleveland back up at 67. Love this pick for Arizona, though. Great pick by the Cardinals. Raiders are trading? No one wants, or unless someone's trading up for Shedeur. Say the pick? Yeah. Who's up? Texans are on the clock. Okay. Here, I'll mute yourself if you're gonna hop in. Yeah.
Are they gonna take Mike Green?
Houston. They got Will Anderson. They got Danielle Hunter.
Yeah, but you never know. So that's not gonna be the Raiders. We can do, I guess. Here we'll do this.
Yep.
Wow. All right.
Texans about to be on the clock at 48. Raiders, Texans, then Bengals, then Seahawks, then Denver. Do we have to do any kind of sponsor? Okay. So, I don't know. Halfway through? A little over halfway through round 2? 2 rounds tonight, round 2, round 3. We can recap a little bit of what's happened so far in round 2 if you're just tuning in. So, Texans are up next. I don't know what the +1 means. I don't know. Well, let's see what's happened so far in round 2. Yep. So, started things off with Carson Schlesinger, followed by Jaden Higgins going to the Texans. Good pick by Houston. I like that one a lot. Then Nicky Manwari. I like all 3. I like all 4 of those picks, honestly. I think they're all good players, so it's hard to be like, oh, that's a bad pick right there. Then the Dolphins get a guard, who I'm not going to try and say his last name, followed by TreVeyon Henderson going to New England. That's bad news for Ramondre Stevenson, who they gave a 3-year extension to, and they drafted a running back in round 2. Luther Burden at 39. Now Caleb Williams is working with Roma Dunze out wide. DJ Moore kind of as like a Z, and then Burden as a slot type guy. Then Tyler Shuck, the 3rd quarterback taken, going to New Orleans right after Jackson Dart went to the Giants at 25. We'll get there in a moment. TJ Sanders off to Buffalo, followed by Mason Taylor. Justin Fields, the new tight end to work with. Good pick by the 49ers and Alfred Collins. Cowboys go on defense with a Boston College edge rusher who had 16.5 sacks a year ago. JTT, the Ohio State champion, going to Indianapolis, just 1 state over. You think they fly him out from Columbus? Well, he's probably actually in California, so that's definitely a flight. Terrence Ferguson, nice pick by the Rams. That's the Oregon tight end. Will Johnson somehow falls all the way to 47. You got to envision that the Cardinals were doing backflips in their war room. They probably debated taking him in round 1. They ultimately decided not to, and they get him at 47 in round 2. And the Texans, who traded up with the Raiders, go with the Minnesota left tackle, Ariante Ursary. So, the Texans adding to the trenches. Here's what they gave up to go from 58 to 48. It is pick number 99. Las Vegas has traded it back twice now. Can we look at all the picks the Raiders have for the upcoming, day and a half of the NFL draft? Because they've got too many picks, I think. There is a point where there's too many picks because you really only allot so many spots on your roster to rookies. So you've got second, 1/3, 2/3, another third, 2/4, and then a 6, another, and a 7th. They're going to have to bundle these 6s and 7s to move up into round 5. Bundle them and trade it to a team like Houston, who is short draft picks, or Minnesota, or Atlanta. Eagles, yep. Denver's coming up soon, though. Who do you want the Broncos to pick? They are coming up in just a moment. They're at 51. Right now, it's the Bengals on the clock at 49. They went defensive line in round 1. Do they go for a Joe Burrow-esque pick or go on defense yet again? Let's see what Cincinnati wants to do. Yeah. Today's show made possible thanks to our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to turn your sports knowledge into real cash. With millions of members, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks has some super cool deals, including Taco Tuesday, where Prize Picks discounts several projections on the board. Download the app today and use code CLNS, like Time and the Buckeye knows, to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. All right, as we await Denver's pick at 51, want you guys to get in the chat with who you want your team to take next. And I'm going to have Reed hop on for a moment just to give a couple of shout-outs to those of you in the chat. Mike Green is still there. Reed can show you guys the best players available.
All right. I will give you... All right, so the 2 people going into the second round, the 2 people that fell far were Will Johnson and Mike Green. Will Johnson goes to the Cardinals at 46. Mike Green's still there. So something that's so interesting is we cover the NFL draft pretty hard, pause, but there's a lot of stuff that we do. We look into everything about these guys to know everything so that you guys know everything. So we're just kind of putting information out there. I guess there's something that we don't know about Mike Green. I mean, we know you can look up what is on his resume and everything like that. But a lot of stuff goes on with some people when you're going into the draft, and everyone's got history, everyone's got a past, but maybe there's something that we don't know that all these teams are passing on. He was supposed to go... The amount of times he was mocked to the Falcons at 15 in the first round, everyone thought it was a lock. And now he's sitting here round 2. We got the Bengals pick coming up. Do not know who this is. We're going to find out live. Bengals picking right now. Bengals. Demetrius Knight Jr., South Carolina linebacker. I have not heard of this guy. He was not even on the big board. Not even on the big board. Interesting. All right. His cousin is D'Angelo Hall, distant relative of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductees Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight. All right. Well, I guess the Bengals just, they want what they want. Paying all their offensive guys, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. They said, all right, well, I guess we'll help out the defense, like Petey said earlier. All right. Love it. I'll get that up on screen. All right. Oh, sorry.
What a bloodline. D'Angelo Hall and Aretha Franklin. Some big shoes to fill right there. Oh my sweet baby Jesus. A $100 super chat from our Broncos stream. Get chugging. Reed. Unreal. What a tone setter. And that $100 super chat, by the way, gets Denver within striking distance of the Browns report and super chats for today. MP Jenkins Sanctuary Networks. What a name, first off. It sounds like a church retreat, which I love that a church retreat sounding name is sponsoring a beer boot from Reed for a $100 super chat. Get to chugging. Hashtag no to Shador. Hashtag Mr. Irrelevant. I wonder if like all 32 GMs are just like a vendetta against Dion, and they're like, nope, we've all taken an oath not to take his son, which would be crazy. So, here we go. Chugging for Mr. Barkus. Yeah, I can.
I didn't really realize that was, ooh, watermelon. This is Happy Dad. Nice little seltzer. They have some good flavors. So, also, something to mention. Petey, you have not had...
It's Mike Days! Mike Days just brought the Broncos breakdown within $25 of the Browns report and supers.
You have not had, like, alcohol since, like, your bachelor party.
You guys want to... No one wants to hear too much of my personal life, but at my bachelor party, for the diet, obviously, you may have noticed a little bit LBs fewer than last time you saw me. No alcohol at all. But when I went to my bachelor party, I was like, that's obviously going to end then.
Yeah.
I drank so much the first day, I passed out by 7 p.m. and missed the group dinner.
Yep.
At the restaurant I was looking forward to the most.
Oh, no.
They didn't take reservations, and we got in. And I walked in, and I was escorted out.
Oh, no. By your friends.
Yeah. I don't remember a damn thing.
That's awesome. I love that.
And then the next morning, we went on an airboat tour, and I threw up 3 times. And I actually, you can tell in the video I did from my hotel room with Joe Flacco re-signing that I had, like, throw-up eyes because my eyes were bloodshot. And I just puked my guts out.
Awesome. That's awesome.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
MP Jenkins.
Everyone spam Chug. Everyone spam MPJ. Great form. Look at that. Look at the lack of spillage. Man, that's teeth shape right there, right? That's the kind of stuff that you want other people to follow suit in. Great work by Mr. Barkus.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Michael wants shots now. All of a sudden, this became a bar. MPJ, thank you so much for your super chat, man. That was awesome. And your teammates have brought the Broncos breakdown within $13 of the Browns report. Will the Browns fans respond? So Seattle on the clock, and it's not going to be long until it's Denver at 51. Trade. Broncos moving up. Denver traded up. Okay. Broncos trading up with Carolina 1 spot. Oh, sorry, not 1 spot. They're moving back. They just traded out of 51. Here it is. Full details. They move back 6 spots. Okay, a lot going on here. Let's break it down. They go back 6 spots. For doing that, they then move up 10 spots in round 3. And they move up in a few of the day 3 picks as well. They go from 122 to 111. And they go from 208 to 230. So they move up in 2 rounds and back in 2 rounds. So Denver trading pick 57. They must, I don't know, feel confident in what they can do at 57 that their guy is not going to be taken before then. So the Broncos trading out of pick 57. Carolina will be on the clock next. Seattle's pick, I think, is in too. So Broncos country will have to wait a little bit longer, trading back 6 spots. The big ticket item is they move back 6 spots in round 2 to move up 10 spots in round 3 and to move up 11 spots in round 4. And Elijah Arroyo just went to Seattle at 50. Nice pick by Seattle. They go with Gray Zabel, offensive lineman, and then a new tight end for Sam Darnold. So Carolina next up at 51. Denver will have to wait until 57. All right, I see a few other super chats coming in our Broncos stream. We'll get to those in a moment. All right, I'll be honest. I was in on Elijah Arroyo until I saw this shirtless photo shoot he did for the draft. This isn't an Abercrombie commercial, dude. I'm out on him. Boomer take, I'm out. Boomer take, though. Browns have 2 third-round picks coming up. They went with Carson Schlesinger at pick 33, UCLA linebacker, and then Quinshon Judkins, Ohio State running back, just a few spots later. Denver trading out, and we'll pick later in round 2. AFX, if we get Sanders in the 3rd, you can't complain. Yeah, I won't complain. I promise. Pinky promise. Handful of supers. It's Mike Days. Yes, sir. Let's go, Broncos. Mike, thank you for your super chat. Greatly appreciate your support of the channel. Yeah. For Carolina. Who? Mike Green. Damn it. No one wants this guy. Okay, is it defense? It's got to be defense. They went Ted McMillan in round 1. It's an edge. Princely. No. I'm running out of edges. Show me. Oh, Nick Scorton. So he's an interesting prospect. He was a beast at Purdue. Transfers to A&M. Major dip in production. A lot of people credit that as a result of A&M had him put on 30 pounds. They wanted him to play a different role on their defensive line. He was not good at that role. So the belief is get him back to what he did at Purdue, and you're going to get that awesome Big Ten edge rusher. Michael, shots. Everybody. It's impossible not to say it. Michael, thank you for your super chat. Florian, Browns fans, this is from a Broncos fan, so let him talk that shit. Because Joseph responded, but this is definitely, it's going to, poke the bear a little bit. You guys might be lucky that sorry, I'm having a brain fart. That Jeremy Stallman's at 38,000 feet right now. Will Shiloh be drafted before Shedeur? Dude, Shiloh is getting picky. I'm you're a round 6 player. I would be happy anywhere. Get ready to learn CFL, Shiloh. So Titans on the clock at 52, and their pick is in. Who does Tennessee take? Oh, it's the UCLA edge rusher. Yeah. I'm just so happy he's not going to one of my teams because that would have been a nightmare to pronounce. Good luck to the new Titans radio play-by-play guy. That's going to be a bitch.
You think any of them are like, shit, I don't know, that guy? I can't say his name. When they get drafted.
Who's the they? Like the
play-by-play guys.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure. They're sitting at home, and they're like, JT, what?
Yeah. Super Chat battle update, by the way. It's just a $13 difference between our Browns and Broncos streams. We see which one can get to 200 first. Cleveland's 20 away. Denver is 33 away. AFX, did we miss your Super Chat? I don't think we did. We can revisit it. That's the one. Byron Wessel with a $5 Super Chat. AFX. I don't know which one he's talking about. We hit that one. The next one then? Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, AFX. I thought we hit them all. Who do you want your team to draft? Denver picks at 57. Denver's 57. Cleveland is 67. Couple of supers flying in here. Let me know. Browns fans probably gravitating towards a quarterback. Broncos fans probably gravitating towards a running back. Bulwark from Australia. What time is it there? Trust in Sean and George. They have a plan and know more than we do. Also, let's go Broncos country. So here's the thing. You're right that they know more than we do. But if you had said that to me, if I criticized the Raiders draft picks for so many straight years, would that have been true? I think there are plenty of examples of, hey, like, sometimes they get it wrong. And we can point it out. Maybe we got lucky that they got it wrong and we said they were wrong. But I don't think, like, we could always just say, well, they know more than us, so who are we to criticize? Yep, you definitely should not have criticized the Cleveland Farrell pick and all the other Raiders first-round selections from 2018 to 2021. Bulwark, thank you so much for your super chat. Yeah, Browns. $15 away from 200 on Browns. Byron Wessel. Hand to God, when you were 10 years old, who your favorite NFL team, NBA team, MLB team, and college? Congrats on all your life changes and career. So if you really want to do some PD lore, 10 years old, I just actually moved back to the U.S. from Japan. I grew up for 5 years in Tokyo. Just my dad's company had us move out there. So wasn't a huge sports fan initially when I moved back. So you want hand to God, that's hand to God. But moved back, and my family's from the Chicagoland area. So those were the teams I grew up with, and I had a lot of family that went to Purdue. So I was a Purdue fan, but I really wasn't I would say a big college fan, but my parents went to small colleges. And then my brother went to TCU right when TCU kind of got good. So I hopped on the TCU bandwagon for like 3 years, and then Tennessee once I went to Tennessee. Byron, thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate your support. Okay. I thought you said Byron again. I like Benjamin Morrison. Good pick by the Bucs. He might miss. He might start training camp on like the NIL list. Give him a year. He's going to be a great outside corner for a team. Good pick by Tampa. They go Mecca. I like this Buccaneers draft. Kudos to the Bucs. They easily could have just fallen out of relevancy when Brady left. They continue to win the division, and they continue to put together good drafts. Abuka and Morrison are good players right there. Nice selection by Tampa. Green Bay's up at 54, and then we've got Denver at 57. If you're watching TV, by the way, just a quick little fun fact. They just had the Browns War Room on. It had Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski sitting there. Do you know who's all the way on the right, Reed? All the way on the right, the guy with the receding hairline. No, all the way to, just right next to Andrew Barry. To Andrew Barry's left. If you're watching on ESPN with me or on ABC, any guesses? That is Paul DePodesta. Does that name mean anything to you? Yeah. Anyone know who Paul DePodesta is? Unmute yourself.
The name sounds familiar, but I do not know.
You may not recognize that name, but you'll recognize a different name. That is Jonah Hill from Moneyball.
Yes.
Yep. That is who Jonah Hill portrays. Paul DePodesta. Who left the A's for the Dodgers and then went to the Browns. He's not very often in Cleveland for things. I think he works remotely from L.A. I don't believe he lives in Cleveland full time. Yeah, a Yank on the footy. He flew. I'm pretty sure he's constantly like a zoom in guy for the team. I don't really know what he does day to day for them, but that is the guy from Moneyball. That's Jonah Hill. All right, we've got the Broncos coming up. Who's my guy? Might be this guy right here. Like I'm saying, someone that you're going to stick your neck out for that other people are overlooking. I think Morrison, coming out of 2023, would have been a first-round pick without a doubt. Either him or Will Johnson. Two guys that are going to fall because of injuries, and I think you give them time to get healthy. And if they can get healthy, which sure that's a big if, they're going to be lockdown corners. All right, I think we have one more super chat too on our Broncos stream. Our Broncos stream, by the way, is $3 behind the Brown stream. We have a bunch of super chats on the Broncos stream. Packers pick is in at 54. Denver's right around the corner. Broncos country. Let me know who you want to get at 57. Kaleb Johnson is still there. Here's the good news. Packers have a running back. Chargers have a running back. Bears at 56. They went Colston Loveland and then Luther Burden. They could take Kaleb Johnson. They could go running back. Tyler Payne, we just went to the playoffs for the first time in a decade. Relax, y'all. Trust the process here. Go Broncos. Hey, spot the lie. He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Tyler, thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Oh, sorry. Hashtag Brashard Smith and fourth. That's the SMU running back. Not a bad idea. Good sleeper pick right there, Tyler. Packers, we'll find out who they took in a moment. Joseph with the $5 super. Josh Durbin's in the chat. Durbin, appreciate your kind words. Hope you're doing well, dude. LJ McCray, thank you for your super. I don't give a buck. Are you a Cubs fan or a White Sox fan? I'm a Cubbies fan. I'm a Cubs fan. We hype. Henderson is who I want in Denver. He's... Oh, no. Oh, you don't know. Henderson went to the Patriots a long time ago. I'll take partial blame. We'll recap up top some of the picks that have already happened from round 2. TreVeyon Henderson's gone. He went at like 38. You want to go back to round 2 at the beginning and just put on the cycle? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Dylan, if we super chat, does any go to the guy who owns the studio? What do you mean by owns the studio? Like our boss? I think Chat Sports can sometimes give this perception of being a big corporate entity. There's 35 of us now, which is the biggest. When I started, we were at 15 4 years ago. Rose at the 20. So it goes to the company, but the company's not like a mega corporation. It does not go to the building that we work in. That I can tell you, who we lease from. Yep. Yep. And then we'll also put this back to round 1 at the bottom. That's all right. Rose is 20, gives the Browns a nice lead in super chats. and gets them over 200. So thank you so much, Rose. All right, next super chat, though. Joseph from the Browns Report. Judkins was pooping when the Browns. Oh, I see. Like, okay, I will say when I'm on live like this, I don't get. How do I want to phrase this? I don't get all the funny details like this. Like, I can't really listen to the TV broadcast well, and that more applies so during like games and watch parties. But I do miss out on things like this. I do miss out on like little nuggets that the broadcast says because I got my headset on. I hear Reed. I kind of hear the broadcast, but that's hysterical. I got to go with good. Right? He was ready to be a Brown. He took the Browns to the Super Bowl. Rose with a $20. If the Browns go QB, how does Leonard... Oh, no. Not until round 7. Round 6 at the earliest. Rose, thank you so much for your super chat. And on our Broncos channel, a $20 super chat to get them over 200 and back within $3 of the Browns report. Florian Swanson with a $5 super. Thank you very much, Florian. Michael, obviously, we didn't get the sexy pick we all wanted. Maybe Genty or Warner is unfaithful. Maybe Payton knows what we need, and that's liability, loyalty, availability, and ability. That's just like quite the pillars of character things we look for. Remember, he got Kamara in the 3rd round. That is true. He also he had some bad picks too. Like, let's not completely suck him dry here. He took Marcus Davenport in round 1. And by the way, that's not like saying he's bad at drafting. There's no coach or GM that's perfect. Michael, thank you for your super chat. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Trey Harris goes to the Chargers. They get Omarion Hampton and Trey Harris. Justin Herbert's life just got a whole lot better. Broncos coming up in just a moment. Yep, we'll catch up on all the other supers in just a second. Best available for Denver, though. Bears 56. Denver's next at 57. Who do you want Denver to take? One of these players here? Probably not this one. That's my guy for the Broncos right there. You made the gamble trading back. No one took a running back. Get him. Trey Harris just went off the board. If they don't go running back, I think it could be defensive tackle. I would toss out Darius Alexander. That's the Toledo interior guy. Good run stopper. Also, Jalen Knoll. He went to Iowa State. Jaden Higgins got a lot of attention. He's the big play guy. Higgins is the big body, right? Knoll is the get the ball in my hands and watch me work. I'll toss out those 3 as my predictions for Denver. Trade? We have a trade. You got to be shitting me. Did they trade out at 57? Do they want to play in the draft today? I wonder if Sean Payton's stuck in traffic. And he's like, trade back until I get there. I like to think in that scenario, he's Ari Gold and George Payton is Lloyd, right? Fuck the phones, Lloyd. Unless Carmen Electric calls for an emergency titty fuck, don't answer. Trade, oh my God, they really did. Okay, it's only 3 spots. And a big jump, wow. Okay, good trade, good trade. You go from round 7 all the way up to round 4 for just 3 spots? I think Detroit wants Mike Green. I think they want Mike Green. Yeah. Okay, so Denver goes initially from 51 to 57, now 57 to 60. Good trade. Great trade. If this was the league, this would be trade rape. How many shows from the 2000s can I reference, you think? I've gotten 2 in the last 30 seconds. Rose, I think it's funny how people were hyping up Sanders not get drafted and seeing his dad get cooked on Twitter. Hey, it's probably too early for this. There are some people on Twitter that I look forward to taking a victory lap on who thought he should go number 2. And I was like, you guys are kind of delusional. He's not a round 1 guy. And now we're looking like he's not even a round 2 guy. Dude, I was at the NFL Combine. We were like, story time. At the NFL Combine, our Airbnb got broken into, robbed. My backpack was stolen, which was weird because my laptop was on the coffee table and they left that. But I loved my backpack. Had a lot of personal mementos in it. So that sucked. But when we were regrouping and we went to dinner and we're like, well, that sucked. We're like, anyone got some hot draft takes since it's the Combine? I go, I think Shedeur goes closer to 32 than 1. And that was, I wouldn't say laughed at, but disagreed with. I could have said 64, and I would have been even more right. Bears go with an offensive tackle. And then we have this trade here. Rose, appreciate it. Yeah. So, and the Lions trade up for Tate Ratledge. So not Mike Green. That was one name I tossed out there for Denver. So after trading back, the Lions secure the Georgia guard Tate Ratledge. I like the pick by Detroit, but a steep, price. To jump 3 spots, they give up their 4th for a 7th. Thomas, if the Browns draft a rookie QB, do you think it'll be a true competition, or will we sit them? And does this close the door on Nick Chubb? Go Dogs. I do believe any rookie quarterback is going to sit. I only think Cam Ward starts week 1. No one else. And as for closing the door on Nick Chubb, possibly. They were always going to draft a running back, so this should not be a surprise. It really comes down to, do the Browns want to give a roster spot to someone who's there to be a locker room player? Or are they deciding, hey, we're going to move on, and we're going to give the roster spot to someone who could be here for the next 5 years, not someone who's here as a pity roster pick? Thomas, thank you so much for your super chat. We got a couple more to catch up on. I was like, I don't recognize who that is. I'm not a big wrestler guy at all. I've never watched a single WWE event. We hype. Didn't realize we gave give me Tej Johnson then. Not till round 5. Sorry. We hype. Thank you for the super. Yep. Oh, Jack Besh, wide receiver from TCU. Nice pick by Las Vegas. I think he could be like this year's Lad McConkey round 2. So, good pick by Las Vegas. Give credit where credit is due. They finally have a good head on their shoulders there with Pete Carroll and Spytech. Odd F, Petey looking clean and handsome. Must be the new rate. I hope you got House of Atlas out of Odd F. You're using. I want to also give a shout out to the Westmouth Minotaurs in Mullingar, Ireland. I'm not sure what that is, but I love that they are called the Minotaurs. Minotaurs as I thought, but Odd F, shout out to them. Whatever that is, I'm on that team. That's my new favorite team in Ireland. Denver's on the clock. Yeah, we had Besh go to the Raiders at 58. Who's at 59? Who do you want the Broncos to take? Ravens. So Ravens are on the clock.
Wait, they fucked up then.
No, we're really ahead. We're like 2 picks ahead.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Ravens are on the clock right now. We have some supers. We'll catch up on all the supers here. Andrew, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. 3-wide racing. Oh, Fred's first. Pick was traded to the Lions. Thank you. Fred, you broke the news to me. It happens every so often. You broke the news to me. I'll always think of you, Fred, when I think of when Denver traded from 57 to 60 in the 2025 NFL Draft. 3-wide racing. Love my Broncos. Yeah, baby. 3-wide. Who do you want to go with at number 60? Or better yet, will Denver trade the pick? That's the better question to ask right now. What is this collection of people? LJ, Scadaboo, or Isaiah Bond? Too slow and too many times in jail. How about that? No thanks. NP Jenkins, Denver needs to take this next pick and then trade their other picks to snag remaining needs. Don't be passive. They don't need to trade their other picks. They've got plenty of draft capital now. So I don't think they should be looking to get more assets. At some point, you have to value quality over quantity. I hope they can get Kaleb Johnson at pick number 60. Harold Fannon, tight end. Okay. What do the Ravens do? They're on the clock.
How nervous would you be if you somehow set a pick? Like you were at the podium and you read the card. For some reason, it was
What if you went up there and it said a different name? Like you said the name
Steve
you
Harvey?
wanted. Yeah, kind of, but intentionally. You were like, I disagree. You were like, I disagree with this selection. I'm going to change it. The running theory is that the Raiders a few years ago drafted the wrong Byron Young. They wanted the Tennessee Byron Young. They took the Alabama Byron Young. And the guy who got drafted by the Rams, the Tennessee one, who you might know best as the player who got away with the face mask against the Vikings on Thursday night, he was told, you're going to the Raiders. The Raiders called him, and then they said Byron Young, Alabama. So at that point, they're like, F it, we'll lean into it. But that's like the ongoing theory. We're waiting on the Ravens at 59 and then Denver at 60.
Tanner, are you talking about our tracker or on TV? Because ours is up to date. By the way, the Ravens just picked.
Yeah, I just saw it too. I'll spoil it in a way. Ravens got the best player available. Any guesses? Any guesses on who that could be? Mike Green. How do the Ravens keep doing this? They got Malachi Starks, who's going to be awesome. They got Mike Green, who's going to be awesome. They keep getting away with it. We are way ahead of ESPN, by the way. Denver's on the clock.
Oh, you're talking about the NFL? Yeah, we're way ahead.
The reason why is because ESPN at moments, it's kind of like in a football game where you have the guy with the orange gloves walk on and he's got the yard marker and he starts the timer. ESPN has to do that with the draft. So the picks have already been made, but they go, hey, you can't announce this one yet. We're going too quickly. Or we're not even going too quickly. We have to do a commercial or something. Denver is on the clock. Who do you want Denver to pick? In a moment, we're going to welcome on our audience from Falcons Today. Yeah, I know, right? Yep. hmm I'm ready whenever you are. hmm Denver's coming up. All right, let's can we show up to best available instead, actually? Broncos on the clock, please. I'm going to close my eyes. Be Kaleb Johnson. Get my number 2 running back in this entire draft at 60. Okay. They went DB in round 1. So you got to envision that crosses off Watts, Revel, and Amos. They're not going quarterback. Let's keep moving for a second if you have a moment. I don't know what you're talking about, but it's very sad. Kaleb, was this Azarai Thomas, Azaria Thomas, Princely, Uman Mielen, and then Elik Iomanor. I could see Iomanor being the pick. Go Kaleb. Yep. Just go right there. Best available. Yep. Welcome into our day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft coverage. We have the Denver Broncos on the clock right now at pick number 60. Then the Browns are only seven spots away at 67. Atlanta will come at the very end of round 3 at pick 101. Welcome into a tri-cast between our Browns report, Broncos breakdown, and Falcons Today channels here at Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson covering all 3 teams for the NFL Draft. So we're live with one stream going to 3 different channels right now. Appreciate everyone for hanging out with us during the NFL Draft. Yeah. All right. Waiting for Denver's pick at number 20. Let me know who you think the Broncos should take. Round 2 opened up with Carson, how do you say his name again? Swessinger? Yeah, Swessinger. Followed by Jaden Higgins. Yeah, let's quickly recap what we saw in round 2 as we get ready for pick number 60. Ty Man, I love the dedication. Dijon Robinson, good to see you. Jeremy, I'm sorry. Don't worry. So here's what we had to open up day 2 of the NFL Draft. Browns picked twice in the first 4 spots. They went linebacker and running back. The Nick Emanwari pick might be my favorite pick so far up until the Cardinals, and you'll see who Arizona selected. Then we've got a few more round 2 selections to peek at here. TreVeyon Henderson going to the Patriots. Luther Burden. Tyler Shuck off to New Orleans. I think the Saints have had the worst draft so far. Kelvin Banks stinks. Tyler Shuck stinks. That sounds like a hater. I'm being genuine when I say I don't believe either one will be starting for New Orleans in 3 years. Love the Alfred Collins pick. Like the Mason Taylor pick. Good pick here by Dallas. Pick is in for Denver at 60. I'm closing my eyes. We're going to break down this pick. I'm live right now on our Broncos Breakdown channel in addition to Falcons today in the Browns report. So we'll do an in-depth breakdown for every selection by those three teams. But Denver at pick number 60. It's in. Let me know when I can open my eyes. Okay, I want to guess first. Is it either Kaleb Johnson or Elik Iomanor? I'm going to have a bitch fit. It's a running back. It's not the one I would have gone with, but RJ Harvey. All right, here we go. Half glass full time, baby. The UCF running back, RJ Harvey, a multi-year starter for UCF, transferred there after one season at Virginia. We're going to tell you everything you have to know about him as Denver pulled off not one, but two trades back, and they get UCF's RJ Harvey, the Knights, right? UCF Knights. So, biggest public school, I think, in the country. Okay. Here we go. RJ Harvey. I'm ready whenever you guys are ready for a full breakdown on this selection by Denver at 60. Broncos fans watching right now, just instant reaction. Mine is, I know no one likes, Debbie Downer during the draft, and we're all supposed to be positive, and we're all supposed to love every pick, but there are some picks where they don't work out super well, and this would not have been my number one running back at 60 for Denver. So I'm going to obviously try and, look at it through a half glass full type of mentality and lens and be upbeat and be optimistic, but I would be disingenuous if I was just telling you guys that this is the greatest pick of all time. So I wish Kaleb was the selection here. Yep, I'm ready. After trading back not once but twice in the second round of the NFL draft, the Broncos selected UCF running back RJ Harvey. So I want to tell you everything you got to know about Harvey as a player. Then I'll give you a little bit of my thoughts and analysis after Denver's second selection in the 2025 NFL draft. So Harvey, first and foremost, is not a big bruising back like we saw with Omarion Hampton, Kaleb Johnson, Quinshon Judkins. He's 5'8", 205 pounds. So I think this is a committee backfield pick. Right? Someone who excels in one area, doesn't stand out in every single area, but does one thing really well, and that's what Sean Payton wants to do, which shouldn't be too big of a surprise, given that's how he's always operated in New Orleans and now in Denver. So he started off at Virginia. He's a bit of an older prospect. He's 24. He just turned 24 back in February. He spent 1 year at Virginia, redshirted, transfers to UCF, only gets 3 carries in a shortened pandemic season, then misses all of 2021 with an ACL injury. So he doesn't get going really until 2023. That's his first time being a full-time starter. He was great for 2 years for the Knights. First team all Big 12 this past season with 1,500 yards. So a little bit of a later bloomer. And when you see that, you start to wonder, hey, is that him being really good, or is that him just picking on guys half his size? Because, he's 23 and he's running over 19, 20-year-olds on defense. So let me give you a little bit of the pro-con pro here. Nice compliment sandwich for him. So Dane Brugler talks about his strengths. Patient eyes the line to settle, scan, and allow blockers to do their jobs, which is a nice breath of fresh air after what Denver's running back committee did last year. Con, he doesn't have the greatest run strength, right? He's not going to run people over. He's 5'8", 205. That's just not what you're getting out of him. Pro, very productive in his 2 seasons as a full-time starter. He was voted a team captain, described as low-key and quietly confident by NFL scouts. He can spin out of tackle attempts and maintain balance through contact. So that's kind of the, quick synopsis of what you're getting. I don't want to, I think there's a tendency when people see smaller running backs, they go, they got to be great receiving backs. He had 20 receptions last year, 267 yards. We don't really know what he has to that part of his game. That was not what UCF's offense called for. But I think we can all agree that if this was a March Madness bracket, everyone's brackets got busted here. And no one really had RJ Harvey here. So they go with Jahdae Barron, the Jim Thorpe Award winner, the Texas DB who can play inside, outside at corner, sprinkle him at safety a little bit. And then after starting at 51, let's look at the trades Denver made. Actually, we'll look at the trades and then we'll look at all their current draft picks moving forward as they traded back not once, but twice until they got Harvey at 60. But first things first, I'm going to be selfish. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. I would love to reach 35,000 subscribers before the NFL draft wraps up. We're less than 500 away. So if you haven't yet, scroll on down. Just look and see if you're subscribed. If there's no D next to it, get that D in there. That's what she said. Click the sub button and lock yourself in for the best free NFL draft coverage. So Denver started off at 51, right? Then they trade back with the Panthers. A lot of mumbo jumbo, but the key picture here is they move up in round 3 to 74 from 85, okay? Then they make another trade with the Detroit Lions. This was a great trade. They just go back 3 spots, and they jump from 230 to 130. They jump 100 spots for moving back just 3 spots. That's a great deal by Sean and George Paton. My working theory is Sean Payton stuck in traffic on the phone with the War Room saying, trade back. We're not picking till I'm there. I like to picture it was like Ari Gold talking to Lloyd, like, F the phones, Lloyd. Unless Carmen Electric calls for an emergency, you know what, don't pick up. So now we've got Jahdae Barron, this incredible DB, versatile piece, and RJ Harvey, who joins this running back room, which is definitely going to be a committee-style backfield. Audric Estime working at the goal line going into year 2. Jaleel McLaughlin probably working on 3rd downs. Harvey working on 1st and 2nd downs. Very reminiscent to what he had in New Orleans with Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, Reggie Bush, a little bit Pierre Thomas. Like, just never really had a true bell cow back. And if you remember back in January, he talked about we're not going to have a bell cow back. We're going to do more of a committee backfield. Yeah, it just became a committee backfield for sure in my eyes. All right, before we move on to the rest of this pick and my kind of overall thoughts on it and what's next for Denver as well, quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to the first pitch or tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. So you want to go see the Nuggets, you want to go see the Avs, maybe the Rockies? Check out Game Time. Last-minute deals, save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So just to kind of wrap up a little bit on who RJ Harvey is as a back. He was a 3-star recruit coming out if you really want to go back in time, but just the overall strengths is he's got good fundamentals to become a better pass catcher. It's just not something we've seen so far during his collegiate career. He's quicker rather than fast. I don't think he's got this home run speed in him necessarily, but I don't want to say he's slow, so don't make too big of a conclusion off that. Here's what Dane Brugler said. Harvey needs to develop better consistency on passing downs, but he is skilled at patiently settling his feet and changing lanes with his instinctive field vision and lateral quickness. Similar in ways to Tyjae Spears, he projects best in a timeshare role in the NFL. I think that this draft is going to be looked back at as, so Denver passed on Omarion Hampton in round 1, passed on Kaleb Johnson in round 2. Is that something they're going to live to regret if those 2 running backs end up having solid, long careers with their teams? there's something to the scheme, to the fit, and what Sean Payton's offense looks like and who fits best in it. And Hampton and Johnson are bell cow workhorse backs. So that may not be what they're looking for in a running back. But if you're curious what my 2 cents on it are, it's what I'm looking for in a running back. Because Denver hasn't had really much success from the running back position in a long. I think you got to go, like, if you can count Melvin Gordon for 1 season or 2, but like C.J. Anderson, like, it's been a while. So RJ Harvey, I'm not going to try and say this is my favorite pick ever, but no one likes an asshole or a Debbie Downer on draft day. So let's be optimistic. Let's look forward to what he can bring to the table here in this committee-style backfield. And the Broncos add a running back, which we knew they would do. It was just becoming a question of who, and they had a boatload of draft picks as well. So RJ Harvey, welcome to the Mile High City. Excited to see you hopefully become the first Broncos running back to get 100 yards in a game since Latavius Murray at the end of the 2022 NFL season with Jerry Rosenberg as this team's interim head coach. So how would you grade the pick? A, B, C, D, or F? I'm going to give it a B-. Draft grades are silly. They haven't played a snap yet. Yeah, I'm supposed to know how good they're going to be, but that's my gut reaction. B-. Thank you all for tuning in. We're live on the channel, so come back here for more Day 2 coverage. All right. Thoughts? Let me make it the pin poll right now. Falcons fans, by the way, how about the Ravens taking Mike Green right before Denver at 60? The Ravens just somehow have this unbelievable ability to always get good players. I ended the poll. But now it's not letting me. Grade the pick. Let's recap on some of the other picks that happened while we were live during that. Yep. Seeing a lot of Fs. Grade. I feel like I'm almost partially responsible for hyping up Kaleb Johnson for so long. Now everyone's mad. Grade the pick. Browns are coming up soon, by the way. They're at 67. So, dog pound watching right now. Who do you want the Browns to get? We got our first super chat from Falcons today. Drew needs to improve at pass protection to be a good pick. Yeah, that's true for like 95% of college running backs coming out, so that's not unique to RJ Harvey. Meanwhile, the Falcons are still a long way away from pick 101. I wonder truly what time Terry Fontenot got to work this morning. Like, if you're picking 101, what's the rush? Get some breakfast, right? Yeah, okay. Also, I'm just going to, I hate this. Every year happens. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick. Okay. Is that what you want to bet on? The one out of, 100 quarterbacks since then to go in round 6 who've been successful? Those are the odds you want to bet on. All right. Couple of picks that came in shortly after Denver at 60. Yeah, we got a couple of Super Chats on all 3 channels right now. Right now, the Broncos breakdown is in the lead in Super Chats, by the way. Browns in 2nd, Falcons in a very distant 3rd, but they got a late start. We saw that one. You saw this Super Chat. And we saw this one. Analysis of 5th overall, Mason Graham to Cleveland, please. I think it's a safe, standing double type pick where he's going to be a good defensive tackle for the next 10 years. At pick 5, you're usually looking for a bit of a difference maker, right? Someone that can really influence the game. Mason Graham's going to make sure he dominates the line of scrimmage. And in the AFC North, that's a pretty good thing to have in your back pocket. Alan, appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much. JDR, not sure about that one, Chief. Yeah, I agree. I feel bad. You stayed up very late for that, too. Bulwark, the sky is not falling. It is going well for us. Trust the process. You know, if you say trust the process and you reference the Sixers in that, the process ultimately, can we say the process worked for the Sixers? The process work? I don't know. Is that really the mantra you want right now? Yeah, got you very far in the postseason. Bulwark, thank you for your super. Next one. Yeah. Browns are coming up soon. Chiefs pick is in right now. Cleveland picks at 67. Would you take Shedeur with the third-round pick now? You know, at this point, why not wait till 94? No one thinks that highly of him, clearly. No one's trading up for him. So you can get, we'll look at the best players available as soon as we catch up on supers. You can find Shedeur at 94 possibly. Or you could trade up from 94 with one of the picks you got in your trade back. Loverboy Charlie, thank you for your super. Yep. Falcons today, super chat, first one. Chiefs just selected Tennessee Omar Norman-Lott. That's a good pick by Kansas City. Chiefs have gone with Josh Simmons and Omar Norman-Lott. They just got a new starting left tackle and a new ferocious pass rusher up the middle. Robert Smith, that's the biggest neck in the world. Terry did the trade because he knows he's gone if they don't win now, and he doesn't want the next guy to have a chance in hell to make better picks. Robert, you're not necessarily wrong. Like, he gave up a future first that if he's fired, like, tough luck for the next guy. So, is that the best for this team long term? Maybe, maybe not, but I think there's some truth to what you're saying here. Robert, thank you so much for your super chat. Yep. Right now, let's show best available, and then that deal. We'll do those two things back to back. Okay, we can do that order. Oh, let's do that order. So Omar Norman-Lott from Tennessee, one of the best pass rushing defensive tackles in this draft, falls all the way to the very end of round 2. He goes to Kansas City. Okay, so I've got a deal for everyone watching right now on our Browns, Broncos, and Falcons streams. Our friends over at Mando is giving out a 3-starter pack stick deodorant to one of 25 people plus who share this video on Twitter and tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey. So it's a very simple 2-step process. Share what you're watching right now on Twitter, tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey. If we can get 25 shares, we will pick one of those people to give a Mando 3-set stick deodorant pack 2. So just share the video, tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey, and this 3-pack of stick deodorant could be yours. We got to get to 25 shares, though. Otherwise, my boss said that we're not allowed to do the giveaway. So please help me reach that goal. Even if you don't even want the deodorant, just share it on Twitter. If you like the free content we provide, this is literally the least thing I'm asking for right now. Tagging Chat Sports and Matthew Petey. I know your Twitter's so precious and it wouldn't look cool. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't give a shit. Share it on Twitter. Tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey. If we get 25 shares, we're picking a winner. We'll get back to those numbers in a little bit. Now let's look at best available. Who could Cleveland get at 67? Shedeur Sanders is there. This would be an Andrew Berry type pick from an athletic standpoint. This could be a, hey, we want to get a new safety next to Grant Delpit. We'll run through some of the other best available. I could see Princely being the pick. He's kind of old, though. I doubt they go with him. Elick Iomanor. Jack Sawyer. I would watch for Jalen Noel. He's a playmaker. Would love Kevin Winston. Only played 2 games last year for Penn State, but really good 2023 tape out there. I'll toss out Jacob Parrish. Super fast. So if you want a new slot corner because you plan on trading Greg Newsome, hello. And then here are the top quarterbacks. My preference is Kyle McCord at pick 104. That's my preference. If they want to go with one of these 3 guys here, or I don't think they're going to do Will Howard. If they want to go with one of these 2 guys here at pick 67, all right. I won't complain. You guys know at this point that I'm not very high on this quarterback class. But if you get that pick wrong, it didn't cost you too much. Oh, Andrew Makuba, good pick by the Eagles. Great tackler, transferred from Clemson to Texas. Really strong year for the Longhorns. He came up with the game-sealing interception against Arizona State in the CFP. So Denver, yeah, we got Cleveland at 67. Let's kind of go through the rest of round 3 super quick. No. I'll keep going. Denver at 74. And Atlanta's not. The Browns come up again. Not until 94. And then Atlanta, wait for it, at 101, the second to last pick in round 3. So the Falcons walk away with 2 picks in the top 30 and not again until 101. They go 15, 26, 101. Quality over quantity. For anyone just tuning in, Reed's going to show all the picks that's happened so far in round 2, just as a nice little recap. Talked about the best players available. Browns fans, who do you want to pick at 67? My preference right now would be, got a running back, so you don't need Kaleb Johnson anymore. I would suggest, I'm not going to go quarterback. Who are some of the, Jalen Noel could be a lot of fun. That's the Iowa State receiver. That feels like Andrew Berry going, we didn't get Luther Burden earlier. We're going to get him now. Jacob Parrish would be a fun slot corner. I'll go with Jalen Noel. Redbot, do you want Jared Wilson, center from UGA, for a 3rd? I'm a little surprised Jared Wilson. This is not a good center class, honestly. I see a bunch of shares on Twitter coming in. Maybe, maybe not. I'm getting a lot of notifications at least. Yeah, Hunter, thank you. Fred, thank you. Hype, thank you. Josh, thank you. HP, thank you. You want to put it on a rotate? Giants at 65 have the pick, and it is in. Browns are just 2 picks away at 67. Who do you want Cleveland to take? Right now, a tribute to the men and women that protect our country. Bless the USA. Be an American, where at least I know I'm free. I won't forget the men who died, gave their life, or gave life for me. I proudly stand up. I think it's just a moment of like break to honor the armed forces. So once more, let's peek the best available. What is Cleveland going to do at 67? I see Will Howard in the chat a bunch. I don't know if the Browns really it's certainly they may not like Shador, but there's definitely a moment where like a point in the draft where you go, well, it's too good to pass on. You know what I mean? Like they may go, hey, Shador's not our quarterback, right? Consensus, everyone agrees, sure. But like at round 7, you go, what? You know what I mean? So what's that round? That's where the question really starts. Yeah. There's got to be a line in the sand where they go, Shador's still there. Take him. Like, ownership might have promised not to meddle, but when Sanders is there at 67 and they go, Jacob Parrish, Kansas State corner, or Shador Sanders, they're going to go Shador. Like, Jimmy Haslam's going to go, hey, I'm going to override this. I don't give a fuck about this Big 12 corner. We're going with Shador Sanders, and I'm selling his jersey immediately. Christopher Stofira. After Christopher Stofira, you want to peek. Darius Alexander, Toledo defensive tackle. Man, the Giants just investing in the trenches. They go Abdul Carter and now Toledo's Darius Alexander. We'll see Christopher's Super Chat, and then we'll look at the updated Super Chat totals. Falcons have some work to do. I know. Scorpion PD, what's the grade on the Browns picks? 3 picks so far. You've got Mason Graham, Carson Schlesinger, and then Quinshon Judkins. I'm going to give it a B+. I think Graham's a good pick. I don't know if that's someone I'm going to say, hey, that's like a game changer for this team, for this franchise for years to come. The Schlesinger pick was like, all right, good linebacker, but like I don't see anything about his game that makes me feel like he is a major difference maker out there. He's just really good at a lot of things. You know what I mean? And then Judkins, I think, is going to be a very good back. And B+ is not bad. Everyone wants to hear A, and you get really upset when it's not an A+. I'll go B+ for the Browns so far. Chiefs take Ashton Gelati early in round 3. Browns are on the clock. Scorpion, thank you for the super chat. Who do you want the Browns to take? Will it be Shador Sanders? Is he going to be a Brown? Let's quickly recap the other supers that came in. We can do a little bit of both. Browns are on the clock. Who do you want Cleveland to take? I'm going to go Jalen Noel, Iowa State wide receiver. Yeah, Iowa Manor is a big frame, good blocking wide receiver, technically sound, from Canada. Christopher, is there a tight end blocker for a 4th-round pick with at least okay hands? Let me go to my sheet. 1 second. The best I can offer you is best I can offer you maybe is Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame. Browns pick is in. I don't want to know. Okay. Quickly, other super chats so we're all caught up. That's all of them? Okay. No on Falcons or Broncos? Give me your prediction. Who did the Browns select at 67? The Browns pick is in. Is it Shador Sanders? Is this going to be the moment that everyone talks about for day 2 of the NFL draft? Or do they continue with, hey, we're going to take the best players on our board and we're not going to reach for a quarterback. We're not going to let social media peer pressure us. They're going to take a quarterback eventually. It feels like either this or the other 3rd-round pick are the most likely destinations for one. Jalen Milroe's still there too, by the way, right? No one took him. I'm keeping my eyes closed until I just don't even want to risk. Who do you want to draft? Read one last time, best available. Anyone's like, line. Give me a name to work with here. They could go DB if they plan on trading Greg Newsome. Don't rule that out. I like this guy right here. Big fun playmaker at wide receiver. Sneaky one will be Jared Wilson if they're like, hey, let's replace Ethan Posick. Quarterbacks. This is my guy for round 4. That'd be, if I was GM, I would do that. 104, Kyle McCord. Okay. Browns pick is in. Reed's going to show you guys the picks the Browns have made so far. We've got nearly 1,000 people watching right now on our Browns report. Click that like button if you're just joining. That's the house rule. Whose name will be filled in here? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be a quarterback or not? I don't think so. I don't think it's going to be a quarterback.
Should they go kicker?
Hey, they went kicker in round 4 3 years ago. Cade York, never forget. Thank you for that win against Carolina, Cade. I don't want to risk it being spoiled, like seeing it beforehand. Wouldn't hate wide receiver, right? You didn't draft Travis Hunter, so your wide receiver room is Jerry, Judy, Cedric Tillman, and Mike Woods. Want to score more points? Maybe get a fun impact rookie like Jalen Noel.
If it's Shedeur Sanders, I'll shotgun a happy dad.
If it's Shedeur Sanders, this chat is about to go from 1,050 concurrent viewers to 10,050 concurrent viewers. Okay. Shedeur still available, along with Jalen Milroe and Will Howard. I think Will Howard and Kyle McCord are clear-cut day 3 guys. Browns pick is in. We're just awaiting the announcement. Who are they going to take? See, you see that guy with the receding hairline? That's him. Yeah. Yeah. All right, here we go. They're walking to the podium. We're going to find out with the ESPN broadcast. Harold Fannon Jr., tight end from Bowling Green. So David Njoku has a new backup tight end. They do not go quarterback. It is Harold Fannon Jr. Who was it that wanted a new blocking tight end? Well, you might have just gotten one. But Harold Fannon Jr. is a great receiving tight end. He's tough to take down. That's the first thing that pops out when you watch him. He's a yards after catch, yards after contact type of player. And the Browns let Jordan Akins so far leaving free agency. Njoku's had a lot of injuries, so Cleveland at 67 addresses the tight end room with the Bowling Green product. So we're going to break down this pick, everything you need to know about Harold Fannon Jr. Are we ready, Mr. Barkis? Grade the pick right now, instant reaction. Harold Fannon. Okay, ESPN, within 30 seconds of announcing the pick, they start talking about Harold Fannon losing, I think, a relative or something. It's a never-ending like morgue with them. We got trade up to 68. Lions and Jacksonville. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are, Mr. Reed. Okay. With pick 67 in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Cleveland Browns selected tight end Harold Fannon Jr. out of Bowling Green State. Not a quarterback, but the Browns continue with going off their board and not feeling the need to reach for a quarterback with Shedeur Sanders and Jalen Milroe still available. So I want to teach you guys everything there is to know about the Browns' latest tight end edition, and then we'll talk more about the draft in general and my thoughts on this pick. But first, who the heck is Harold Fannon Jr.? Because I doubt many of you watched a lot of Bowling Green games last year. So here's the first thing you got to know about him. He is fast. Like, he is a speedy, he is a yards after the catch type of player. That's not a typo. He had 1,555 yards as a collegiate tight end. He was the entire offense. 10 touchdowns. He was a consensus All-American. He was the MAC MVP, MAC Offensive Player of the Year, first team All-MAC, led the FBS in catches and receiving yards. He is just impossible to take down the first time. 6'3", 241 pounds. So a little bit maybe on the, I wouldn't say the small end, but the smaller percentile for NFL tight ends, but just average altogether. Nothing to make too big of a deal out of. But run after the catch. If you want to learn one thing from the video, it's, hey, the Browns got this tight end who's awesome after the catch. Throw on his highlight reel after this video. You're going to see him catch the ball. He's going to sidestep one defender. He's going to step over the next defender, and then he's off on the races. And that's how he got 1,500 yards with God knows who Bowling Green's quarterback was. So you never see production like this from a tight end in college. Now, as I was saying earlier, if we want to be a little bit of a, unbiased show and do pros and cons, the cons are at 6'3", 241, he's probably not going to be the guy you want going up against TJ Watt on a quick chip. He might be someone that you use in the slot more. I don't know if he's going to be a traditional inline tight end. But with Stefanski back in charge of the offense, he's going to want to get more two tight end sets out there. So Njoku and now Fannon are those two tight ends. Also Njoku going into the final year of his contract, all the injuries he has suffered over the last couple of years. Not a bad idea to, plant a little seed in the tight end room here. But you don't have a ton of depth at that position. I like this pick. By the way, if you're thinking, okay, he had 1,500 yards in the MAC. Little fun fact for you. When they played Penn State, he had 11 grabs, 137 yards, and 1 touchdown. When they played Texas A&M, he had 8 grabs, 145 yards, and 1 touchdown. He was all over the field. He was this versatile chess piece. He was an offensive coordinator's like Brazzers subscription. You could use him anywhere. I like this pick a lot. So, before we get on to the rest of my breakdown of this pick, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. No one's going to keep you informed as well as we do when it comes to the 2025 NFL Draft. So let's get to 44,000 subs. Scroll on down. Click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I want to look at what Dane Brugler had to say about him and some of the testing numbers as well. And then we'll talk about what's next for Cleveland in day 2 of the NFL Draft with one more third-round pick. 4.71 40-yard dash. He's not like Kyle Pitts' unicorn. Remember when he came out of Florida? He was so big, so fast, so tall and strong. No, he's not that. That's why he's a round 3 guy. But round 60, pick 67 in round 3, I think the Browns might have gotten a steal here. I think this might be the pick that in a few days when people talk about their favorite selection from the draft, you don't want to say the first pick because that's like too easy. They're going to go with this pick right here. Here's what Dane Brugler said. Fannon is somewhat of an unconventional prospect. He is awkwardly athletic with stiff, restricting movements, but he plays with straight-line explosiveness, outstanding tracking skills, and threatening run-after-catch ability. He fits best as a hybrid H or F tight end and offers 3-down potential. So welcome to Cleveland, Harold Fannon. I mean, doesn't have to go very far away from where he currently is situated, but good pick by the Browns. Njoku, with the injuries, it felt like it was a good opportunity to bring a new young tight end to begin with. And in round 3, the Browns, I'm proud of them, proud of Andrew Berry, stick to their board. They go with the best player available to them, and they don't go and say, well, Twitter said take Shador, so we'll do what Twitter said. Before we move on to the rest of my breakdown of this pick, quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time makes getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Last-minute deals save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So let's talk about maybe I wouldn't say the elephant in the room, but kind of the elephant in the room. They didn't take Shedeur Sanders. So the Browns, I think, like the rest of the league, are showing a much better accurate representation of what GMs viewed this quarterback class as, whereas media members and fans, as always, a tradition truly unlike any other, build up these quarterbacks in the pre-draft process. Why? Because quarterbacks sell. More intrigue, more interest with quarterbacks. You know what didn't sell? Eric frickin' Fisher going first overall in 2013, followed by Luke Jokel to the Jags, whatever his name was. And here we are, and no GM actually just wants to waste a pick because that's what the mock draft said they're going to do. So I'm not shocked to see a bit of a fall for some of these quarterbacks. I always said Shedeur would go closer to 32 than number 1. I didn't think I could say he'd go closer to 64 than number 1. But let's review what the Browns have done so far in the draft. They've got one more pick in day 2, and then we'll peek at their day 3 selections as well. They go with Mason Graham, who's going to be this team's next Cam Hayward, kind of like a Cam Hayward, Geno Atkins mix, right? He's going to be a better run stopper than pass rusher. Like Hayward can get up to double-digit sacks. Graham, I'm not so sure about, but I still feel like this is a good standing double type pick. Carson Schlesinger, he's the linebacker from UCLA. He is good at a lot of things, and I think the Browns just figured with JOK's, uncertainty, we want to get a new young linebacker, and let's get someone who can roam and control the middle of the defense, since it's always been a bit of a revolving door there. Ever since Anthony Walker ran into all those injury problems, they've never had much consistency at that position. Love the Quinshon Judkins pick, running back from Ohio State. He is a, bruising, violent type back, but whenever you think bruising back, you usually think bruising but slow. He ain't slow. He can move and he can run people over. Harold Fannon at 67, this has the potential to be a super fun pick. This has the potential to be the Cleveland Browns' next big weapon on offense. It might be Jerry Jeudy, Harold Fannon, and Quinshon Judkins leading this offense for the next 4 to 6 years. I like the selection. And so then now we look at what the Browns have in the rest of round 3 and what they have in day 3 of the draft, which kicks off kind of bright and early tomorrow. But the Browns still have one more third-round draft pick, and then after that, they've got a good amount of day 3 draft capital. So after picking 67, they also have 94, which maybe they use in a quarterback. I know all of you want Will Howard. Then right again to open up day 3 with 104. I expect them to trade some of these picks, by the way. Like they pick 104 and 126, then 166, and then they don't pick again until 192. So maybe not pick again, maybe not trade again. So as of now, that's what the Browns are working with for day 3 of the NFL draft. All right, grade the Harold Fannon selection for me. Give it an A, B, C, D, or F. I'm going to give this an A. I think at 67, you find a tight end with 1,500 yards. How do you not be a little excited about that, given, sure, it's not a huge risk for where you took him, but the ceiling is super high with this guy here. So I'll give it an A. For where he was taken, value-wise, it might end up being my favorite pick in this draft, like I mentioned a few minutes ago. Do we like it? A lot of A's. I see a couple of super chats have flown in. We'll get to all those in just a moment. We'll also recap on the picks that have happened since 67 when Cleveland was on the clock. Atlanta, just tuck yourself in here. You got to wait till 101. So here's what happened. Darian Porter, he's a 6'2 corner, blazing speed, 6 years in college, only 1 year as a starter. So he's experienced but raw all at once. And then after Darius Porter, we had a couple more picks come in here. Kyle Williams, there's the receiver out of Washington State. Then the Lions love to do this. They love to actually think they're the smartest ones in the room. They had a great draft with Jack Campbell and what's the running back? Thank you, Jahmyr Gibbs. Ever since then, they felt like, hey, everyone told us that draft sucked, and now it's a good draft. Let's continue to make weird picks and to improve them wrong. This pick sucks. I don't know who this guy is. That's why he sucks. Texas defensive tackle. And then the Bills selected Landon Jackson at 72. Denver's right around the corner at 74. So Broncos country, who do you want to select coming up? If Denver even picks at 74. Yeah. I don't know if Kaleb Johnson just slept with everyone's wives here. But no one wants him. It's unreal. That's funny. All right, Reed's going to give a couple of shout-outs here. This is your guy, too. I know, just one quick thing. Let me know who you want Denver to take.
All right. Azareye'h Thomas from Florida State. I am a Florida State alum. To be fair, I did not watch a lot of his tape or anything like that. But I know I watched him last year a little bit. He's good. Definitely a round 3 guy, though. This is exactly where I thought he'd go. Joins up with Jordan Travis, who is on the Jets as their backup. So getting back with his teammate. So that's cool. Broncos are on the clock. Broncos breakdown. Who do you guys want? I see a lot of Tez. I see some Tez. I see some Cam Scattaboo. I don't think they just took RJ Harvey, so I don't think Scattaboo is in here. C Ryan saying another corner. Possibly. Let's look at the board real quick. Best available. You got Xavier Watts. I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate an Xavier Watts pick. Siobhan Revel, Shador, Caleb. We got Princely. So I like the wide receiver from Stanford.
Yeah,
that could be good.
You're
muted.
Iowa Manor, I think, could be the pick for Denver
I think so
at
too.
74.
It could be good.
Broncos are on the clock. Who do you want them to get?
I don't know. I like. Imagine they take Caleb Williams too.
I know we have a few super chats here. Let's catch up on those. Let's do this really quickly, actually, if we can, as we're waiting for Denver's pick to come in. Who do you want the Broncos to select at 70, whatever we're at, 74? I saw some on Broncos and some on Falcons, too. Let's see what Denver's on the clock. And the pick is in. Bane, do an NFL draft sporkle between picks, as if Bane. I was joking that today. Yeah, pick is in for the Broncos. All right, get it ready. We'll catch up on the other supers in a little bit here. But Denver's pick at 74 is in. In round 1, they went with Jahdae Barron. In round 2, they went with RJ Harvey. In round 3, I think they're going to go defensive tackle. Let me know when it's on screen. Just the small one then. If there's no big cam. Is there a headshot? Oh, this got to be a bad player then. All right. Oh, holy reach. I think everyone goes, who? Pat Bryant. Illinois wide receiver. I think Pat Bryant answered the phone and went, you sure you know who you called, right? All right, here we go. Let's learn everything there is to know about Pat Bryant, Illinois wide receiver. I'm not going to pretend that I've got an encyclopedia on Pat Bryant off the top of my head right now, but I don't think the chat is very happy. Sam Brown said we are so back. He's a big Broncos fan here at Chat Sports. He likes it for what it's worth. Pat Bryant. Okay. On Dane Brugler's big board, he was wide receiver 21, 5th round grade on him. A little bit of a reach, a little bit of a panic pick. I don't want to say panic pick, but, they got their guy and they wanted their guy. So, hey. Would people have said a reach if someone took Amon-Ra St. Brown in round 3? All right, here we go. I'm ready to break this down when you guys are. Okay. With pick 74 in the 2025 NFL Draft, Denver makes a little bit of a head-scratcher. They pick Pat Bryant, wide receiver out of Illinois. A lot of people viewed him as more of like a day 3, round 5 type of player. But let's get familiar with Pat Bryant. 6'2", 204, so some prototypical size for a wide receiver. He was a 3-year starter for the Fighting Illini. Last year, 984 yards and 10 touchdowns. He doesn't have incredible speed. I mean, he's 4'6", 40-yard dash, so just solid athlete, solid athleticism. But I feel that one thing that really jumps out to him is the way he can use his physicality to get past people. He's also sneaky good when it comes to run after the catch. He also adjusts well to tough throws. And when you're playing in Illinois, I mean, they had a good quarterback last year, but it's tough to put together a great highlight reel in Urbana-Champaign. So you look at his stats over last year, he's not a speed demon. He's not going to be someone that probably stretches the field for you. But last year we saw Denver, they kind of had a type with their receivers, right? I mean, at least with Devon Vele, they wanted guys who were reliable when it came to the catch, not guys who were viewed as top consensus prospects because they were super fast or something like that. He played the Z position, so I'm not sure if he's going to, line up traditionally at the X position outside. You might find him more in the slot in the NFL, but we'll figure out what Sean and George Paton want to do with him. I think he's going to go in there and he's going to compete with Troy Franklin and A.T. Perry for like wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. So that's kind of the background on who he is as a player, right? The strengths are, he's got good, this sounds weird for it to be a strength, but it's what Dane Brugler has. Natural coordination. I sure hope so. You're a wide receiver. That's a tough thing to lead off with right there. He doesn't have, top-end speed or anything like that. He's got good after-the-catch ability. He can make good contested catches. I think he plays bigger than his size would indicate. So it's a nice big target or big-ish target for Bo Nix to throw to. I'm at a bit of a loss here. There were some other good receivers out there. Jalen Knoll from Iowa State is a big-time playmaker. Elick Iowa-Manor from Stanford, good run blocker, and that's not what you want to be known for, but that's an important part of the gig early on as a rookie receiver. So I'm definitely, we look at the top receiver. I would take any of these 4 guys over him. But Denver decided to, go get their guys. They did it with RJ Harvey, and now it's Pat Bryant, wide receiver out of Illinois. This is probably not going to be everyone's favorite pick initially, And then it's probably going to become people's sleeper pick in a few days when they watch some highlights, they do some research on him, and they go, all right, I'm going to buy in. You got me. We're going to talk more about the draft for Denver in just a second here, but make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you want to get 35,000 subscribers to help your favorite Broncos YouTuber out, I need you to scroll on down and click that sub button. So let's kind of catch up on what Denver has done so far in the draft. Jahdae Barron. I mean, all three of these picks have kind of come out of, I wouldn't say left field, but I mean, not right down the pipeline. You know what I mean? Jahdae Barron, I think, was just a product of best player available. How is he still there? We can't pass on someone who's that good at a cornerstone piece like DB. I would have preferred Kaleb Johnson, and I would have preferred most other wide receivers here. Now, a lot of you are probably going, PD, you don't know, shit. You're not Sean or George Paton. They know way more than you. And you're not wrong. They do know more than me. I'm not trying to pass myself off as more in-depth on the NFL or football than those guys. But not every GM and head coach nails every single draft pick. So this is definitely a head-scratcher of a pick that if it doesn't work out, we're going to look back and go, what were they thinking in round 3 with a day 3 guy? That's way too early for him. What a big-time reach. All right, more on what Denver's going to do next in the draft in just a moment, but I do want to give a quick shout-out to our sponsor today, which is Game Time. Game Time has an awesome deal right now for Broncos country. Over at Game Time, they make getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off or first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets if you want to go see the Nuggets, you want to go see the Avs or the Rockies or any other sporting event in your area. They've got last-minute deals. You can save up to 60% off buying last-minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Get started with Game Time today and take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So just to kind of summarize and wrap up who Denver just got in round 3, because I know all of us are fairly confused by the pick. Here's what Dane Brugler had to say about Bryant. Bryant isn't super dynamic, which will be tougher to mask against NFL competition, but his body coordination and ascending technique match well with his natural tracking skills. He projects as a backup possession target who can fight for a wide receiver 2 or wide receiver 3 role in the right situation. You can look where Tom Downey from Chat Sports had him ranked. 178 overall. And Denver got him at 74. So this is a gamble by Sean Payton, right? This is someone in that war room, and probably Sean, sticking their neck out. Going for a guy that most people did not look at in round 3, but they did not want to live in a world without him. And they were willing to move up and get their guy. I mean, it's a little bit like a fantasy football draft where you've got your sleeper and you just don't want to risk someone taking him. So you don't mind if you go a few rounds early. The backfire here is it's not a fantasy football league. It's, a job. And if Pat Bryant does not live up to the billing, then, man, oh man, you just lit a top 100 pick on fire when there were some good receiver options available at that spot, right? I think Iowa Manor was kind of like a better version of Bryant. And Jalen Knoll from Iowa State is a huge playmaker with the ball in his hands. I think those would have been 2 good picks right there. So I'm going to, push back and say I don't really agree or like the last 2 picks by Denver. I would have gone with Kaleb Johnson over RJ Harvey, and I would have gone with most other receivers over Pat Bryant. But there it is, Denver's first 3 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That way you don't miss any future picks. But let's wrap up with a good old-fashioned grade the pick. Maybe don't, actually, because I don't want Pat Bryant to see this and have his confidence crushed. That is the worst when a player gets picked by a team and no one on that fan base wants that pick to be the pick. So grade the pick. And Pat, if you are seeing this and you see D's or F's, that is just what they do in Denver. It's opposite. That's a good grade. It's a little bit different in Mountain Time. He's from Florida, so it's just not what you're used to. But yeah, different world on the other side of the Mississippi River. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to, sign off for this video. We're going to be live still on our live coverage for day 2 of the NFL Draft. So if you're watching this, join our live coverage after this video wraps up in 3 seconds, and I'll see you then. What the fuck? Pat Bryant? Who? Yeah, the Fs are pouring in. Okay, after Pat Bryant, Nick Martin, good linebacker from Oklahoma State who got injured. So he falls as a result. Nice pick by San Francisco. I think they're having a really good draft. And then the Cowboys get their next corner to maybe replace like a somewhat injury-prone now Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland. Siobhan Revel, a little bit of a guy who's bad at school, but really athletic and really, lengthy and fast as a DB. Nice pick by Dallas at 76. All right, let's catch up on some super chats here. It looks like it's 5 degrees in Green Bay. They are beyond bundled up. Yeah. Getting towards the end of day 2 of the NFL Draft. There's 102 picks in the draft. 102 picks from rounds 2 to 3. So we're at 77. We got to get to 102 until day 2 is over with. You guys can see my chair. That's not good. Bunch of super chats. I promise we'll get to them. You pick. Okay. So, some super chats here after Pat Bryant. Kind of yikes. Fravel edits. Absolutely hate this draft so far. We have no idea what we are doing. Draft BPA at a position we don't need. Then you trade back twice, take a 24-year-old running back with bum knees. Now no Fannon. Yeah, if you want to look at it from a more than half glass empty way of looking at it, that's not a bad way of looking at it. I think you are kind of blowing past that. Jahdae Barron's a good player still, but I agree that I don't really know where he slots in because you have 3 starting corners. Sorry, I guess, Jaquan McMillan. But we like McMillan. Fravel, thank you very much for your super chat. Another one, we won't have any of the top talent in this draft that fit any of our top 3 needs. We should have traded up to get Judkins and Henderson instead of sitting back and waiting. Draft is ruined for me. If Denver is looking for a running back in round 1 next year, everyone's got a fair gripe and a fair, complaint to have with Sean and George Paton. I hear you, Fravel. I hear you. From our Browns channel. Yep. Nope. Jags have 104. Oh, I think you're right. I'm sorry. I might have been fake news media. I think they do have 104, and the Browns have their 4th round pick. I got lost in the trade. That's my fault. I made a boo-boo. I'm sorry. I'll get that corrected. Thank you for looking out for me. The tracker has the Browns with pick 104. That was traded to Jacksonville. The Browns and the Jags swapped 4th round picks. I'll have to let Sam know. Okay. Next super chat. Jeff, Steelers have pick 83 and Saints 93 before the Browns at 94. Do they give break and pick one of the QBs? I mean, the Saints already took Tyler Shuck. If you're New Orleans, though, why not take Shador 2 at 93? Right? I mean, unless you think Shuck is a no-doubter, why not bring in an extra competition? I think the Steelers go quarterback at 83, though. So I do believe Pittsburgh goes quarterback at 83. Question becomes Jalen Milroe or Shedeur Sanders. Jeff, thank you so much for your $20 super chat. Really appreciate it. All right, we got some more super chats here. Broncos breakdown super chat. Tiki Tech Gaming. So, like, here's the thing, right? One person likes a pick, one person hates the pick. And there's never going to be a consensus until, like, 3 years after the draft. But I'll do some RJ Harvey tape tonight watching tonight. Because whenever I get to bed after the draft, you think we don't get home till, like, 1:45-ish in the morning. It's actually not as easy as you think to just fall asleep at that moment. You kind of got the adrenaline-ish, or, like, the excitement more so. We got some more. Oh, there goes Jalen Noel. So, good pick by Houston. They get both Iowa State receivers. They get Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel. Brian Thomas Gold. RJ Harvey is going to surprise you. 6.8 yards per carry. This dude is a monster sleeper. Yeah, guess what? Kaleb Johnson had 6+ yards a carry, too, in an offense that passed the ball 130 out of 134 times and constantly faced stacked boxes. In the Big Ten, too. Thank you. Coming in from Falcons. Falcons draft Shedeur Sanders. It would be very Falcons-esque. You know, you're joking, but what if Atlanta's like, hey, we want a new backup quarterback, and Penix has a lot of injury issues, and we're at 101, so why not? Worst case scenario, we trade him in the future. Gary, it's something Terry would consider. I'll put it that way. David Dilly, Jack Sawyer still available. Could it be? All right, everyone that's watching, it's an Ohio State and a Browns fan mashup. You guys get to pick one. You can either have Jack Sawyer or Will Howard. That's it. You can't have all of them. You got Judkins already. So, you guys can decide which one you want. Sawyer or Howard? Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. So, over at Mando, they're giving away a 3-pack of stick deodorant. If you share the video on Twitter and tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey, then you'll be entered into kind of a raffle. Once we get 25 shares, my boss is going to pick someone. I'm just going to read to you verbatim the Slack he sent me. And if you've got a boss like this, maybe you can, sympathize and relate a little bit. Okay. Here we go. Let me find the Slack channel. Shoot. Oh. Quote, we need 4 more shares or show's over. I'm coming in to yank the cord. I don't want the cord yanked. Please. Share on Twitter. And I'm having a great time. Tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey. And if we can get 25 shares, which we're 4 away from, show them the 3-pack of Mando deodorant that one lucky sharer is going to get. So, share on Twitter. Help me out. You want to see some of the picks that have come in? Maybe go from round 2 up. But yeah, please help grow the channel. It does go a long way. It tells YouTube, hey, this is really popular. We should show it to more people. So if you like the free content we provide, sharing on Twitter, tagging Chat Sports and Matthew Petey, supporting a sponsor of ours, it's a good circle of karma and life, like internet life. All right. Good pick by Carolina. I don't know who that is. I liked all these picks right here. Sorry. Yeah. Just a little bit of Twitter. This is crazy. This is bonkers. Who the hell is that? All right, Steelers are coming up soon. Titans are on the clock right now. Do you want to put it on show all the teams' picks, you know what I mean? Team by team a little bit? Kind of, yeah. Is that possible? Okay. Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah. I got the picture. Titans at 82, what are they going to do? Jack Sawyer.
You got Dylan Sampson still there. Ton of touchdowns from that guy.
I like Dylan Sampson. I would like that more than RJ Harvey.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. RJ Harvey, not bad.
Yeah. Do that for sure. I don't know. Will Shedeur Sanders go in day 2 of the draft? Forget round 2 now, day 2. Is he going to be a Steeler? Is he going to be a Brown? Where does Shedeur Sanders end up? At this point, I feel like Shedeur goes to a team that doesn't need a quarterback, but they're like, hey, we think that you could be a good developmental project. Is Shedeur Sanders going to be a round 4 pick? Oh, we have the picks in for the next 2 teams. For Tennessee and for Pittsburgh. Pick is in for both those teams. Browns are coming back on the clock soon-ish. A little bit, 10 more picks. Broncos are done for tonight, by the way. Like, they have used all their picks for day 2. They could trade back in, but for now, they are out of day 2. So their picks today were RJ Harvey and Pat Bryant, which leaves a lot of fans going, huh? Never heard of that guy. Titans pick at 82. Very good selection. He's going to be the next Kevin Byard. Like, he's going to be the next, safety for that team for years to come. Really good pick by the Titans. And there it is. Kaleb Johnson going to the Steelers. You're right. That does look like he's on the Steelers. Great pick by Pittsburgh. Kaleb Johnson, I think, is a very good running back. And I think people are going to look back and go, what a mistake letting him go in the draft. Good pick by the Steelers. Good pick. Let's see who's coming up next in the draft. Bucks are on the clock right now at 84. We are so far ahead of ESPN, it's not even funny. They're just reading the Titans pick right now. And then, Reed, do you want to show updated Super Chat numbers while we look at who's coming up? Yep. What's going on, Joey? At some point, kind of, yeah. No, no. Yeah. Are you doing the copy for this? I'll make the title right now. I'll make the title right now. Okay. what do they do? Because dude, I make these like templates, and then they no, he did do it. Yeah. All right, let's go really back to the Mando giveaway. We are literally 3 away from reaching 25. Share this video on Twitter. Tag Matthew Petey and Chat Sports in your tweet. And once we get to 25 shares, we're going to pick one person to win a 3-pack of Mando stick deodorant. So share it out. We need 3 more people. Literally, we're at 22. Got to get to 25 in order to make the giveaway worth it. Help us out, please. I don't want to be the only stream that goes back to the bullpen when we're all signing off that didn't get to 25 shares. Do your favorite YouTuber or your least favorite YouTuber a favor and share it on Twitter. And the plug factor. Come on. Help a brother out. Share it on Twitter. Tag Chat Sports and Matthew Petey. So Steelers pick is in, Kaleb Johnson. We have the Bucks, the Patriots coming up. I know. I wonder how many people died on ESPN's broadcast today? What do you think the number is of people that were talked about that have passed away? There's been 83 picks so far. I think like 20 deaths have been shown on air. We got a super chat or two to catch up on here. I believe, from Copenhagen. No one is taking Sanders in this draft. Commissioner is letting them know they aren't bigger than the NFL. Yeah, I mean, that's a deep conspiracy that Roger is telling all these teams to pass on a quarterback if they really like one. I just think the reality is Jahdae Sanders is going to get properly drafted. He was a quarterback who didn't have, great speed. He didn't have a great piece of arm strength. He was accurate, but he threw a ton of screens. And nothing really about that profile jumps out as like a top 100 for sure pick. So kudos to GMs for going, yeah, we're not going to just like completely ditch our entire draft board because Jahdae was talked about a lot on Twitter. So the Chiefs have traded their 3rd-round pick to the Patriots. Oh, Chiefs have, gained New England's 3rd-round pick. We'll see what the Patriots get. Oh, we made it. We got to 25. Okay, 1 second. I think James is gonna do like a random name generator to see who wins the Mando. James is our boss. I feel like context clues could help put together the purpose of that sentence. I know they don't know who the fuck James is. No, I was talking to them. Pick is in, by the way, for the Buccaneers. I don't know if... Jacob Parrish. There it is. Yep. Really good slot corner. Really fast. I like that selection. The Buccaneers might be having one of my favorite drafts of anyone. Emeka Egbuka, Benjamin Morrison, and now Jacob Parrish. Good picks by Tampa so far. All right, before we get on to the rest of round 3, quick shout-out to our sponsor, which is Prize Picks. Prize Picks has so many awesome deals right now for everyone watching. It's the best place to turn your sports knowledge into cash. With millions of members, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. On PrizePicks, you can mix and match player projections from different sports as well. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game. All right. We are getting towards the later stages of day 2 of the NFL draft. It's 10:30 p.m. on the East Coast. So shout out to everyone who is still rocking and rolling with us. I mean, we have been live we went live initially at 5:30 p.m. Central, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah, my back is feeling it standing this whole time. What do you think is worse, standing the whole time or sitting? Okay. Well, I thought we were going to have another debate of what's worse, being too hot or too cold. I hate that debate. It's always too cold.
I'm on your side with that, though, in terms of the hot is bearable.
Yeah.
The cold is not. Like, where it ends, they don't correlate.
I agree. Yep, 100%.
Like, I'm okay with 100-degree weather. I can bear that. That's fine. But I think a lot of people don't know the comparison to that.
People that like to say
25 degrees, maybe 30.
People that to say it's better to be too hot than too cold because you could put layers on have never lived north of the Mason-Dixon. They don't know what it's like to get up and have to shovel off snow from your windshield and to have to, like, wear a bunch of layers to get into your office or get into school and then take it all off.
But if you say 95-degree weather or 35-degree weather, or like 40,
40, yeah, then for sure the cold.
I'm like, oh yeah, 40 for sure. But it's like you can't just be like, oh, would you rather be hot or cold?
Right.
In casual, maybe inside or like not like in terms of like harsh weather.
Yeah.
I'd rather be cold because you can layer up. Because if it's not harsh, like I'd rather throw a sweatshirt on, you're fine. But you're not. I don't want to be sweating.
Tally up the totals and Super Chats across the 3 channels. Falcons today got first place yesterday in Super Chats. They are very far behind right now and a distant third right now. I know. I'm just calling it out, though. I love how you're their attorney. Trying to provide some motivation. Unmute yourself. You're going to talk.
I was saying they did start late, but there are some heavy hitters.
Yeah.
In the Falcons chat.
We've got some news, and it's not related to the NFL draft, but it's related to our Mando giveaway. We have the winner. Okay. So follow James's directions and do exactly that. We have our winner. We're going to reveal it in a moment. Noel Williams, Cal corner going to the Chiefs. Chargers pick is in at 86. The Browns are on the clock at 94, I think. Yeah, 94. All the quarterback, at this point, any of these teams could take a quarterback because we often see random quarterback picks in late round 3 when they're like, hey, it's too important of a position to pass on a guy we think is good. I do wonder if there are some GMs that are like, hey, I'll let the next GM kind of deal with the entire Sanders family in on my business. I just don't want to deal with Dion calling me out for not playing his son early enough. I wonder if that, or even, I wonder if coaches are like, I don't want to draft Shedeur because I'm going to feel like they're going to try and replace me with Dion soon. So why would I, vouch for the guy that is going to come here and ultimately be my demise because the owner wants to have Dion coach his son. And they want to get that duo back together. It's crazy. Okay. Here we go. So this is for our Mando 3-pack stick deodorant giveaway. And it goes to Graphic Burns. So Graphic Burns, Chat Sports, is going to DM you on Twitter with, a little bit of information requesting to get you your address and to get your Mando 3-pack deodorant sent out to you. But Graphic Burns, congratulations. You've been a longtime viewer of the channel, and I'm really happy it went to someone who's been a longtime supporter. So thank you so much, Graphic Burns. There's Jason. Yeah, he's in the chat right now. That's Graphic Burns. Okay. Shout out to you, Jason. Chargers 86. Let's kind of go through the next couple of picks here. Who could take a quarterback? Browns sitting in the mid-90s, looking for a QB still. Is there anyone sitting in front of them that could take a quarterback? Well, I'll tell you who it's not going to be, the Chargers. They just took a defensive tackle from Oregon. So Green Bay, I mean, maybe they want to find a new backup for Jordan Love. That's the only idea right here. Do the Jags have any kind of fear about T-Law long term? I doubt these two teams take quarterbacks. They want to get guys who can help win right now, right? They made the playoffs last year. They made the playoffs 2 years ago. Want to bounce back quickly. So these don't seem like obvious quarterback candidates to me. Let's check out some of the other teams picking. Texans, C.J. Stroud. Maybe the Rams. Rams, I could see it happening. Seahawks, I could see it happening. Right? This is the exact same story for Seattle. Remember, they signed Matt Flynn from Green Bay. They signed a different NFC quarterback this offseason. Then they took Russell Wilson, I think, in round 3 or 4. I think it was round 3. So it would be pretty... By the way, the last time Seattle took a quarterback in the draft, I believe, was Russell Wilson. They never drafted one after that. And the Browns pick at 94. So, possibility. Packers at 87 select. Savon Williams, TCU wide receiver. That's a good pick by the Green Bay Packers. He was used at running back. He was a Swiss Army knife. He's fast. He's big. He may not have a traditional role, but he can be used in a multitude of ways. He had receiving touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, even a passing touchdown last year. A little bit on the older side. Says he got a daughter born in December, so he's a mature, grown man right there. But good pick by Green Bay. Savon Williams. I thought maybe Denver could go with Savon in my mock draft. That was not the pick, though, for the Broncos earlier. Who do you want Cleveland to take as we get closer to round 3, pick 94? Yeah, Super Chats. We'll just stick with that. Broncos done for day 2 unless they trade back in. Jags on the clock at 88. Their pick is in. I'm excited to see it. Yep. All right. Super Chat battle. Slight lead. Keep in mind, this channel started first, then this one, then this one. So from a timing perspective, give credit to Denver. And then I want to tell them about the Venmo deal we're doing as well for this, Reed. So if you want to get involved in the competitiveness and also just maybe support the channel, Super Chats do go a long way. If you're not able to Super Chat, that's not a problem. Just like the video. That's completely free. But I know some of you like to, win in every single competition. So here's one more you can help your favorite team win in. Okay. Browns fans only. My boss gave me, I think it was 30 Browns Report hats. So, $5 Venmo. And we're going to do a duck race at the end of the night for a Browns Report hat. $5 Venmo at Matthew Petey to get added to that. So if you want to get a hat for maybe your favorite channel and support the channel in the same process, $5 Venmo at Matthew Petey to be added to a Browns Report hat raffle, which we will do after round 3 is complete. If you want to get a hat for sure, $50 Venmo, and this bad boy is yours, which I know it's not a very cheap hat, don't get me wrong, but if you want to support the channel and get something out of it at the same time, this is a great way to do so. So really appreciate those of you that go above and beyond to help us out here at Chat Sports. Okay, Lucas. Yeah, chill out, dude. Jags, what are they going to do? Jags pick is in. Browns are getting closer. Oh, we got one Venmo. Christopher, thank you very much, Chris. Brett as well. Appreciate it, Brett. Thank you. The Jags pick again? They traded with the Rams? It says Rams at 90. Let's recap a little bit what all the picks have been so far for these 3 teams, Reed. So Jags, Travis Hunter in round 1. They don't pick again. They picked Hunter at 2. This was their next pick in the draft. Another corner, kind of. So here are the selections for the 3 teams being covered on this live stream right now. Atlanta, Jalen Walker, and James Pearson still awaiting pick number 3 after making a trade up for the Tennessee edge rusher. The Browns, on the other hand, look how busy they've been. They go Mason Graham after a trade back. They go Carson Schwarzen. We got it. I got it right the first time. I'm not going to screw this up. Schweisinger? Yeah, I think it's Schweisinger. Schweisinger? Carson? This is making for some bad radio. Schweisinger. I think it's Schweisinger. Yeah. Quinshon Judkins, running back from Ohio State. Harold Fannon, tight end out of Bowling Green. Then you've got, Broncos. How would you guys rank these 3 drafts? Who's had the best? Who's had the worst between these 3 teams alone? Jahdae Barron, RJ Harvey, Pat Bryant. Number 1, I'm going to say is, I got to say the Browns. They have 4 picks. You know what I mean? Number 2, I go with the Falcons. And number 3, I go, Schweisinger. That's what it is. Yeah, Carson Schweisinger. But I'm going to go with Browns number 1, Falcons number 2, Broncos number 3. We got some more Venmos coming in from Bane and from Charlie. Appreciate all of you guys supporting the channel. Pick is in for the Jags. Again, I don't know how they... Oh, they had 88 and 89. I see. Okay, they go offensive line. Good pick right there by Jacksonville. Rams on the clock here. This is the hat in question if you want to support the channel. $5 Venmo will add you to the raffle for that. Browns are coming up. Who do you want Cleveland to take at 94? Shedeur Sanders, Jalen Milroe are still there. Feel like they're going to go quarterback with one of those 2. I mean, just looking at the best players available, is there anyone out there that's just so good that you're like, we can't live without that guy? Camden, thank you for your super chat. I saw hims as well. Xavier Watts, I don't really know what's going on here. Does he have medical issues? I didn't think so. How is he still available? Xavier Watts. No, he played all 16 games last year. Consensus All-American. I'll take Xavier Watts over any quarterback. Camden, I could see RJ Harvey being like Isaiah Pacheco 2.0. But Pacheco is such a bruising back. I guess they're both like similar heights. But I think Pacheco's better between the tackles. I would rather had like 3 other running backs than Harvey. And like 3 other receivers than Bryant. But that's why they pay Sean Payton and not me. So hopefully he's right and I'm wrong. He's him. Predict Browns top jersey sale. Rookie. You know, he's him. I like these. It's a nice question. It's a great question. All right, let's kind of go through the candidates. Myles Garrett's probably going to be number 1. No quarterback, I think, is going to be a top jersey seller. No running back. Jerry Jeudy, I don't think is going to be there long, like, not there long enough, but like been there long enough to get all that jersey attention. It's Myles Garrett. Rookie, not Mason. If they take a quarterback, it would probably be the quarterback. If not the quarterback, I would suspect Quinshon Judkins from the Ohio State factor. However, Chalk says just take the first round pick. Who's number 1? I have no idea what number he's going to wear. Yeah, why not? Juan Thornhill wore number 1 last year. He's not on the team anymore. By the way, when we get to the Browns pick, we're actually not going to do a complete breakdown at that point for it. We're going to do that with our grades. We're not going to do a live cut out of pick 94 for the Browns. We'll combo that with the grades. Yeah. Yep. My computer's barely working. So, who do you want? Cleveland to take it 94. Rams pick is in right now. Then it's Baltimore, Seattle, then New Orleans, then Cleveland. Dibble, great to see you hopping in the chat today. Rams pick. Michael Brockers again. No one from the Rams wanted to go to Green Bay. Josiah Stewart, Michigan defensive end for the Rams. That's going to turn out to be a great pick. You just know that. I got a Venmo from Trevor. Thank you, Trevor. And Ken. Trevor, just a quick tip here. Don't put that this was like a transaction. Otherwise, you take 3% out. All right. Brad gets Shedeur Sanders or Jack Sawyer. I wouldn't mind Jack Sawyer. It doesn't really seem like an Andrew Berry pick just because he loves athletic players, right? It's not really Sawyer's calling card. Corey Dotz. Everyone wants Sawyer. I do feel like what if Barry's like, hey, let's just kind of win the fans win the fans back with an Ohio State. He took Judkins. He probably feels fulfilled in that regard. Mike Dibble, please let Sawyer be the pick. Great draft so far. Also, Petey, did you get my email about the hat? Yes, I did. I saw the email just as we went live, but been very busy, obviously, so I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to respond. Brett Huddeshaw with a $5 super chat from Falcons today, followed by Jose Santana. Brett, if the Browns draft Sanders, you should drink a fifth of Cherry Admiral to celebrate. Man, put me in a time machine and slap me in Hess Hall in 2017 right there, Brett. Probably not, but I appreciate the idea. Would love to see if there's a local distributor that has some Cherry Admiral spiced rum. Thank you for the super chat, Brett. Ravens pick is in. Jose Santana. PD, all of us Atlanta Falcons are still partying from yesterday. That's why the supers are so low. Jose, you got nothing to apologize for, my man. Yesterday was a lot of fun for Falcons fans. It was fun to read all the comments of people saying, I went to bed after Atlanta's pick, and then I woke up to James Pierce on the Falcons roster. Pick is in for the Ravens and the Seahawks. We'll get the Ravens pick up on screen in a moment. He's him. Emory Jones, tackle, guard from LSU. He was their right tackle. Remember, he was supposed to be like a top 10 pick. Didn't quite have the year in 2024 to warrant that, but still a top 100 selection. A good pick by the Ravens, who, of course, just get really good players from the SEC. And Mike Green. Hit that thumbs up button if you're just tuning in. Browns pick coming up in a little bit here. They pick 94. Do me a big favor. Show me you are rocking and rolling with me by liking the stream. Okay. It goes Seattle, then New Orleans. I could see Seattle taking a quarterback here. Sean Alexander about to announce the pick for Seattle. They took Russell Wilson the year they signed Matt Flynn. And the Seahawks pick at 92 is Jalen Milroe. Yep. Kind of called it. So Shedeur is the last man standing. Is Shedeur even the next quarterback taken at this point? Nick Saban gives a round of applause for his old quarterback going top 100. Jalen Milroe goes 2 picks before Cleveland. Hopefully that wasn't the if that was really the quarterback the Browns wanted, they would have traded up for him if they wanted him. They had the ammunition to trade up. Saints already got Tyler Shuck, so I don't think the Saints feel cucked. But we saw this by Seattle. Oh, what did Shedeur tweet? Oh. Is Shedeur going to go to the Browns? Dun, dun, dun. Do the Browns pick Shedeur Sanders? Would you rather have Shedeur Sanders or Jack Sawyer at 94? It's New Orleans. I don't want any reaction from you when you see the pick. Straight poker face. No, for Cleveland. Milroe, he is a roller coaster of a quarterback. Turns it over a bunch, but he also makes some great plays with his legs, and he's got probably the strongest arm in this draft class. So if you can harness all that, he's a great just mold to work through. The issue is there are some major what was that moment. What were that moment? Like a lot of them. Games altogether. So it's Milroe to Seattle. Sam Darnold, Drew Lock, Sam Howell. Bit of a crowded quarterback room. Here are the like numbers so far. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Looking at you Falcons today right now. So we see quarterbacks go in the following order. Cam Ward, number 1 to the Tennessee Titans. Then Jackson Dart to the New York Giants at 25. Then we see Tyler Shuck go to the New Orleans Saints at 40. Then Jalen Milroe to the Seattle Seahawks at 92. Shedeur is shaping up to be the 5th quarterback selected. Pick is in for the Saints at 93. That would put the Browns on the clock. Their final pick of round 3, barring a trade. Oh, boy. Pick is in. And it is Jonas Sanker, Virginia safety. And now the Browns are on the clock. Do you want Cleveland to select Shedeur Sanders? You're this far in the draft, kind of like a why not mentality. You don't have much to lose, but also, is he probably going to have the best career over like Xavier Watts? I don't think so. So if you still are adamant of, I don't want to waste draft picks, I want to get the best player, I don't think it's Shedeur Sanders. I think it would be Notre Dame safety Xavier Watts. You put him with Grant Delpit, and that's going to be an improved defense from last year. Will Shedeur Sanders go day 2 in the draft? Day 2? Yes or no? I'm starting to wonder if he's ever going to get picked. Like, is it just is it a bit now? Saints pick is in. Well, the ESPN broadcast is behind. Browns are on the clock. Let's look at the best available really quickly here. If you want Shedeur, then your mind's made up. That's fine. If you're like, can I see the menu?
Oh,
Pick is in. Trey with a $50 super chat representing Falcons today. Trey gets Falcons today within $30 of joining the 100 club. Okay, if you're like just best player, it's Xavier Watts. Iowa Manor, if you want to go with a more like big blocking receiver. Marcus Bowe would be a nice, addition to the interior offensive line, but you did that last year with Zach Zinter, so you probably don't need to feel the need to go back there. Jalen Walker, $50 super chat. Everyone show Trey some love. Jalen Walker should have been a top 10 pick. James Pierce easily could have gone 15 respectively had it not been for character concerns. Even if our first is a top 15 next year, which it won't be, then all we did was utilize our pick a year early, A+. Trey, true, don't exclude that you also swapped your second for their third this year from 46 to 101. So that's a little bit of a piece of the pie, but yeah, you did just kind of borrow your first-round pick from next year and use it this year. Trey, thank you very much for your super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Always being a huge supporter of the channel. Shout out to Trey, everyone. Someone finished the alley-oop for Trey. He's got Falcons today at 71. Can they get to the 100 club? Browns are on the clock. We'll look over what the Browns have picked so far in the draft, and their pick is in. I feel like they're not going to go quarterback. I don't know. I feel like they're not going quarterback because they're still stuck on like the ESPN table crew. So if it was going to be a quarterback, they would have flipped it over to the main stage earlier. All right, who do you want the Browns to pick? Let me know. I'm going to say Xavier Watts. If I had to pick one name right now, that'd be the name I'd go with. Okay, eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. Pick is in. All right. Tell me when to open. Can I guess? Let me know when it's on screen. Okay, I'm not looking. All right, let me ask a question. Is it Shedeur Sanders? Oh! Dylan Gabriel. Well, we kind of suspected a quarterback would be in play at some point. Just thought he'd be like a round 5-6 guy. But the Browns do go quarterback, and it is Oregon's Dylan Gabriel. Holy smokes. So here's what we're going to do, Reed. Let's break this pick down right now, and then we'll talk about Gabriel for the first half, and then we'll kind of do grades in general for the second half. Not quite, just kind of verbalize, go pick by pick, and I'll give grades out for all of them. No, we'll just do it this way, trust me. Yep. So Dylan Gabriel, holy smokes. Like, that kind of just took, the words out of my mouth a little bit because you think, no. Yep. You just think if they were going to go quarterback, it would be Shedeur Sanders at that point. Wow. Dylan Gabriel. I view as a day 3 guy who's got some upside, but there's a lot of question marks about the ability to translate to NFL game day, and that's the pick for Cleveland at 94. So the Browns get a quarterback. It's just a quarterback no one really saw coming. So let's learn all about Dylan Gabriel. Give me your grade right now for Dylan Gabriel. We're going to Imovavi afterwards. Yes. Yeah. I don't have a good reason as to why Shedeur Sanders has been just blackballed. But that is a great way to put it, Tony. Dylan, the way you reacted, I knew it was kind of a fun pick. And then, it was hard not to laugh. Yeah, no, Dylan Gabriel. All right, here we go. Are we ready to rumble? Okay. The Browns go quarterback in round 3, just not the quarterback you thought it would be. Oregon's Dylan Gabriel. So let's learn all about the Oregon quarterback, and then we'll talk about passing on Shedeur Sanders and the Browns draft grades altogether from day 2 of the NFL draft. But first, Gabriel, let's get a little bit of background on him. He's a little bit smaller. I mean, he's not even 6 foot. He's 205 pounds. He's not really what you'd expect from an Andrew Berry type pick, right? Doesn't have very big hands. He's also old. He's going to turn 25 years old in December. So he's played a lot of college ball. He started off at UCF, you might remember. He played 3 seasons there. He had a brutal season-ending injury early in 2021. Then he goes to Oklahoma, plays 2 years for the Sooners, plays great football for them too as well. Then last year, 1 year up in Eugene. He's first-team All-American, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, 3,800 yards, 37 touchdowns. So, more about him just overall as a player. Just kind of the, cliff notes. 1, he is lefty, so get used to that a little bit. He's got a great understanding of the game, which I'd hope after playing for a long time. But he is not viewed as a very gifted athlete or passer. He doesn't have some really strong cannon of an arm. He's accurate, which, listen, when you play college football for 6 years, I kind of hope that you know what you're doing when it comes to reading defenses. He's got, decent mobility. I'm not going to say he's like a slowpoke or anything like that, right? He can use his legs when he needs to, but I don't know if I'm going to look at him as hey, here's a Lamar Jackson kind of quarterback who can really bring a whole new threat to the offense. Willing to be proven wrong on that part right there, but that's always been my kind of interpretation of Gabriel. So now for some of the negatives. He's not very big. Small hands. So that's tough in Northeast Ohio. When it gets cold, you got to big hands to grip that football when you play in Cincinnati and Baltimore and Cleveland and Pittsburgh in December and into January. That's going to be a little bit of a red flag for sure. He doesn't have a cannon of an arm, like I said earlier. I don't know if he's really going to translate well to the NFL. I don't think that his style of play is going to come out on Sunday. I believe that he is a quarterback who worked well in a lot of systems he played in. I'm not sure he ever created much on his own when he was freelancing. I just don't think Gabriel is going to be a Sunday starter at the next level. But the Browns wanted a quarterback, obviously. Shedeur Sanders was there, and now it's looking like, as I'm filming this during, the Browns pick and right afterwards the Patriots pick, he might fall out of the first 2 days altogether and be a 4th or 5th round draft pick. So more on Gabriel and then just day 2 grades in general. Really quickly, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. We're trying to grow this channel. I need your help to do so. So if you haven't yet, scroll on down and click that sub button. Here's what Brugler had to say about this pick. Gabriel looks small in the pocket and has some limitations as a downfield thrower, but he is a rhythm passer with the football instincts and mature intangibles to overcome his physical shortcomings. Has a fighting chance to earn a backup role in the NFL. Yikes. Not super encouraging to say the least right there. I think what teams maybe are kind of searching for is, hey, who's the next Brock Purdy? Who's a guy that played a lot of college football, who can get into an NFL huddle, who knows how to run an offense, who isn't trying to play catch up, but just maybe doesn't have the greatest physical traits, doesn't have the strongest arm, but despite that, they are able to win a little bit with their head, right? Put themselves in good positions. And yeah, you may not have a full playbook with Anthony Richardson where he can just air the crap out of the ball, but he's going to make sure that he makes the smart throws and the defense gives it to him. Right now, Gabriel joins a quarterback room that's got Flacco and Kenny Pickett competing for the starting gig. Ignore Watson. He's going to miss all of 2025 with an Achilles injury. I think that if you really wanted a shortened version on Gabriel, he's kind of like a point guard. I think Brugler said it in a very well way that he's going to scan the field. He's going to go through his progressions. He played a lot of football in college, so he knows how to run the offense. And at 94, a lot of things I've just said about him, I feel like apply a little bit to Shedeur. And I'd say Sanders has better accuracy, better arm talent, not better legs. But the Browns, here's my kind of theory. If you're wondering, PD, why is no one taking Shedeur? At this point, it does feel a little bit like it can't just be the talent, right? Because why does Gabriel go before him if it's about talent? I've got a bad theory. It's bad, but it is a theory. I'm going to say that the theory is that coaches are afraid to get Shedeur Sanders because then Deion Sanders is going to come and coach that team the next year, and they don't want to have someone micromanaging them. So that's my working theory. All right, before we get to the round 2 draft grades, quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time has an awesome deal for Browns fans watching right now. If you want to go to a Cavs game, if you want to go to a Guardians game, if you want to go to any other sporting event in the area, check out Game Time right now. Game Time is a great place to get started to save $20 off your first purchase. Plus, you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. The Atlanta Falcons selected Xavier Watts. We're going to break down that cut in just a minute, but we're going to finish off recapping the Browns selection of Dylan Gabriel, and then we're going to talk all about Atlanta trading up in round 3 to get Xavier Watts. So back to the Browns and Dylan Gabriel and everything Cleveland did in day 3 of the draft. Let's just recap what they did starting at pick 33, fast forward to pick 94 as I'm going to suspect the Browns are done with day 2 of the draft. So I'll give you my grades on these selections and just a little bit of a blurb on each guy. So Mason Graham went round 1. We know this. But then at pick 33, the Browns don't go quarterback, which look at how the rest of the board went. Probably a very good decision. They went with UCLA linebacker Carson Schweizinger. I feel like this is a very good, safe, well-rounded pick. Maybe at 33, you want a bit more of a splash guy, and he was a one-year starter for UCLA. I'm not sure if he's going to step into that defense and be a huge playmaker for them, but he's going to hopefully provide some long-term security at the middle linebacker position, given Jordan Hicks is up there in the H column. Devin Bush is just kind of on borrowed time, playing year to year, and JOK's career is very much up in the air at this moment. So I'll give this grade right here. Going to give it a solid B, right? There were guys that went after that I would have liked more, but I don't think this is a boo kind of pick. No, it's kind of like Mason Graham. It's maybe not the fun, toy, Christmas toy pick you were looking for, but I think in a few years you'll look back and go, yeah, the Browns maybe just kind of took out their iron and hit down the middle of the fairway. Quinshon Judkins, running back out of Ohio State. I'm going to give this one a B+. I think I would have probably gone with TreVeyon Henderson or Kaleb Johnson, but now I'm just nickel and diming them. I'm very happy that Cleveland went with a running back in day 2, specifically in round 2. They could not ignore their need for a back. I didn't want them to feel like, hey, we can find a good guy in round 4. Screw that. Go get your guy early in round 2. Don't try and be the smartest person in the room. I like this pick for Cleveland. I like the positional pick for Cleveland. So Judkins, I'm going to give this selection right here, like I said, a B+. All right, next up, it's Harold Fannon, Bowling Green State tight end. 1,500 yards last year. All of the awards possible for the MAC. I'm going to give it an A-. David Njoku's 29. He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of years of his career. I like the Fannon pick a ton. He is awesome with the ball in his hands. He's a yards after catch, yards after contact demon. He's going to be a fun player on offense. Huge fan of this selection right here at 67. And then Dylan Gabriel, I'm going to give it a D. I don't think he's going to be an NFL starter. And okay, if you miss on 94, that shouldn't be a sinker. But no, I don't think Dylan Gabriel is going to be the Browns starting quarterback for the next 8 to 10 years. So, sorry, not sorry. I give this one a D. So, let me know, how would you grade all these selections, A, B, C, D, or F? Hop in the comment section. Don't be a stranger. For all of day 2, I'm going to give the Browns a B+, right? I think I gave the Browns, which with all the ammunition they had, they didn't go for, big-time receivers and things like that, but I feel like the Browns are doing a good job of just plugging some holes on the roster, right? Kind of just playing it safe at some spots, but just addressing overall roster needs. So B+ for me for the Browns in day 2. Really appreciate everyone for tuning in. We will be, I'm not sure if we'll be live for day 3, but we'll have obviously videos for all the picks the Browns make in day 3. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel. That way, any picks that come out, we're going to be the first ones to get a breakdown on it for you. Atlanta jumping back earlier into round 3 to get Xavier Watts. Very, very sorry to make you guys wait a few minutes. Big fan of this pick. What's the trade? Can we get the trade details? They were at 101. They jump up 5 spots to get Watts. I love this. I freaking love it. Xavier Watts had no business falling this far. Makes a trade with the Philadelphia Eagles. Like Terry Fontenot and his sidekick Ryan Pace, who used to be the Bears GM, love trading future assets away. They don't care about the future. They actually hate the movie Back to the Future. They gave up a future 5th to go from 101 to 96. And you know what? I don't mind it. I don't mind it one bit, because Xavier Watts, I think, is going to be this team's starting safety come October 1. Right? We'll look at Atlanta's safety room here, but I believe him and Jesse Bates are going to be this team's starting tandem and duo by the time the season wraps up. Huge fan of this pick. We're going to break down this selection right now and tell you everything you have to know about Xavier Watts. Sorry again, I kind of got some bad timing between the Browns and the Falcons right there, back-to-back-ish. But Xavier Watts, a Falcon, 3rd pick for Atlanta. I think he's going to compete with Jordan Fuller and DeMarco Helms for that starting strong safety gig opposite of Jesse Bates. He was sensational last year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So let's tell you everything you need to know about the Falcons' 3rd round draft pick and my grade for it as well, which, spoiler, is going to be very, very high. Yep. The Falcons made a trade earlier into round 3 with the Philadelphia Eagles to land Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. So I'm going to tell you everything you got to know about him, and then I'm going to give you my grade for this pick altogether. But Atlanta, sitting there at 101, which was originally the Rams pick, got the itch to trade back, which they love to do, and they used a future 5th to move up 5 spots with the Eagles, and they select Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. I love this pick right here. I have no idea how or why Xavier Watts fell this far. He is a prototypical safety, 82 tackles last year, 6 interceptions, 16 pass breakups. He was a 4-star recruit coming out. He was from Nebraska originally, Omaha, redshirted in 2020. He starts the last 2 seasons for the Fighting Irish, consensus All-American, Sugar Bowl MVP in 2024. He is a ball hawk of a safety. 13 career interceptions, 7 in 2023, 6 in 2024. No other player in FBS had even 10 combined interceptions in 2023 to 2024. He's in a club of his own. Now, from a Size-wise, I said prototypical. We can call it adequate. We can call it average. He's not going to stand out with his size or his strength or his speed, but he's not going to be that's not going to be a hindrance to him necessarily. Is he the best athlete on the field? Probably not. 4.58 40-yard dash. Again, not a liability. I don't think these numbers can be viewed as that's a problem. It's just not a calling card of his. But 13 interceptions over 2 years, consensus unanimous All-American safety. I mean, Bronco Nagurski Award winner for the nation's top defender in 2023. Yeah, I love it. Love it for the Falcons. Has great ball skills. Our NFL draft expert, Tom Downey, had him as his number 3 safety, 34 overall player. I mean, Terry went to bed last night with a huge smile on his face. And now he goes to bed tonight with maybe a bigger smile knowing, hey, I got an incredible safety, and I didn't even have to give up much for him. I thought picking at 101, we'd be getting some guy that we hadn't even heard of before. Instead, they're getting an All-American safety. And all it cost you was a future 5th rounder. I can't say enough good things about this pick right here. I liked both the Falcons' first-round picks. This might be my favorite pick when you take into the value of where you got him and how good he is. The Atlanta Falcons, I think, are kicking ass in this NFL draft. Before I give you my grade, which you can already guess what it's going to be for Watts, make sure to subscribe. We recently crossed 35,000 subscribers. Greatly appreciate all of you who hopped aboard. Now we're trying to get to 36K, but we got to stop at 35.250 first. 238 away. If you haven't yet, please scroll on down, click that subscribe button. Now a little bit more on Watts, and then we'll talk just grade for him and kind of what Atlanta has done the entirety of the NFL draft. So Dane Brugler from The Athletic has always good things to say about these players. Here's his write-up on Watts. Watts isn't a safety you want playing man-to-man coverage against slot receivers very often, but he is a solid run defender with the route anticipation and ball skills to sniff out plays from depth. He projects as an NFL starter and would fit best in a split safety zone-heavy scheme. Zone-heavy scheme? May I introduce you to Raheem Morris, who had the second most zone defense last year in the National Football League. I think Watts is going to step into that locker room and immediately compete with Jordan Fuller. Don't put him in situations where he has to use his speed and quickness to lock down a player. Let him read offenses. Let him sit in his zone and let him use his instincts and his ball skills and come up with big plays. Everyone's been focused, and rightfully so, on Atlanta's lack of a pass rush ever since Terry Fontenot took over, ever since this franchise was conceived, okay? Keep in mind, the interceptions and the takeaways have been poopy too. Before we wrap up today's episode, I do want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time has an awesome deal. Save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seats with zone deals. They make getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets, playoff tickets, and you can save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So getting back to Atlanta and what they've done so far in the draft. I give the Xavier Watts draft selection an A+. I think this is going to be one of those picks that leads all of the articles tomorrow of best picks from day 2 of the NFL draft. Xavier Watts at 96? I think Atlanta was sitting in the war room going, Are we watching like Impractical Jokers? How is this guy there? Yeah, give up a future fifth to jump up 5 spots and get Watts and Bates working together. This is going to be a fun defensive turnaround. You go Jalen Walker at 15. He's going to just be the future identity of this defense. I'm telling you now. Then James Pierce, who was the plan all along at 15, and that's your new heat-seeking missile to get to the quarterback. And finally, Watts to step into that secondary, which was kind of so-so last year, but it got a little bit of a pass because everyone was focused on the pass rush. Atlanta has not done a very good job of generating interceptions the last 2 seasons. Unless your name is Jesse Bates, everyone else has been subpar from that department. So, looking over the entirety of Atlanta's, day 1 and day 2 draft picks, I give the Falcons so far an A. Starter. You got 3 starters for a defense that was abysmal on like a good day last season. Raheem Morris, he's got some speed to work with right there, and now he's got some experience and some playmaking to work with here. Atlanta has a 4th-round pick. Then they pick again in round 7, and that's it for the Falcons. So they only have 2 more picks in the NFL draft unless they make some more moves, which they could trade back from round 4, get an extra 5th, and walk out with 3 picks instead. But honestly, they could give up their picks right now, and I'd give the Falcons an A. I'd give them an A for all the picks they've made so far. All right, here are some of the best available players as we move into day 3 of the NFL draft. We're filming this right towards the end of round 3 of the draft. Denver traded right back into round 3 with the Falcons pick at 101. So we've got some possible movement going on here with 2 more teams picky as I'm filming right now. But I love this pick for Atlanta. All right, how would you grade the pick so far? I give the Falcons, I give them an A. I give the Xavier Watts pick an A. I give all these picks an A. I think the Falcons are killing it. I'm not trying to be a homer or be biased or anything like that. I genuinely feel that the Falcons are kicking ass and taking names in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We're going to have more draft coverage tomorrow, so come back then as we break down every single pick by your Dirty Birds. And the Broncos just took LSU defensive end Savon Jones. So we're going to break down this pick for Denver, give our grades for the Broncos through day 2 of the NFL draft as they hopped back into round number 3. Quick plug here before we break down this Broncos pick. Venmo, I know it's kind of a side tangent right now. Venmo $5 for a chance to win this Browns Report hat to Matthew Petey. If you want to support the channel and get a piece of Browns gear in the same process from the channel, $5 Venmo, and you get added to that raffle. So we'll put the information on screen. We're going to do that raffle in about 10 to 15 minutes, so stick around for that. But Savon Jones, the pick for Denver at 101, which originally belonged to Atlanta, but the Broncos make a trade with the Eagles to get back into round 3 for the LSU pass rusher. Yeah, the rich just get richer right now in Denver. The number 1 pass rush in football just added LSU's number 1 pass rusher in Savon. So here's the information if you want to get added to that Browns Report hat raffle. But let's break down this Savon Jones pick, and then we are going to give grades for all of Denver's work so far in day 2 of the NFL draft. The deliriousness is starting to kick in, if you have not noticed. Okay, I'm ready whenever you are, Mr. Bartkus, as the Vikings make the final pick for round 3 and day 2 of the NFL draft. You ready? Yeah. Let's do it. Vikings to conclude day 3 of the draft take Tay Felton, wide receiver out of Maryland. No, they don't know what any of these names are. Okay. Oh. Okay. Are we ready? Do we have the trade? All right. The Broncos traded back into round 3 of the NFL draft to select LSU defensive end Savon Jones. So let's break down the pick here, talk about the player. Then I want to talk about everything Denver did in day 2 and my grades for the picks. But the Broncos were done in day 2 after picking in round 2 and round 3, but they made a deal with the Philadelphia Eagles. They went from 111 up to 101. And in exchange for that, they give the Eagles an earlier 3rd-round pick and a 6th-round draft pick. So their draft capital for tomorrow just got 1 pick lighter, but they did get the Eagles' 4th-round pick in return. So let's talk about who Savon Jones is, and then I'll tell you my overall thoughts on the pick. 1, you're getting a great mold of an NFL defensive end. This is what you're looking for from a height, weight, length type of defensive end at the next level. He was a 2-year starter for the Tigers, played 4 seasons down in Baton Rouge, a 4-star recruit coming out of Louisiana. Now, he never really had the big production that teams were looking for. That was their earlier pick in Pat Bryant, but now we'll look at Savon Jones' stats from this year as he put up 4.5 sacks, 43 pressures, so the production is why he is a pick 101 guy. He's got prototypical, I'd say above average NFL height, weight, size for a defensive end. He just never was able to really, put it all together in college. There's a little bit of inconsistencies altogether, but the profile is there. So if you're one of those people that go, you can't teach speed, you can't teach height, he's your man. But he's a little bit stiff, as Tom Downey points out. But I feel like this is a pick where Denver goes, I know we just led the NFL in sacks a year ago, but we've got John Franklin Myers and Zach Allen entering contract seasons. So if we just want to have a little bit of an insurance policy, plus, can you ever have enough pass rushers? I don't think so. So Denver does add to their defensive line. In a 3-4 defense, I expect him to be like a 5 technique, right, where Zach Allen and John Franklin Myers play. So he's not going to step on Jonah Ellis or DeAndre Tillman's toes when it comes to getting snaps. I think he's going to slot in with, Wazirike and Jackson and Henningsen and compete for snaps in a rotational spot with Allen and John Franklin Myers. Overall, I like this pick for Denver. I was a little surprised they jumped back into round 3, but we know how valuable cornerstone positions like pass rusher are. Teams feel like you can never have enough of them. So not a huge whopping surprise that with Denver's first 4 picks in the draft, one's a corner, one's a pass rusher, because those are building blocks for NFL teams. So here's the trade once more. Denver does give up a draft pick for day 3 in the process, so a little bit later on Saturday now, but they go out and get a pass rusher who they feel can be a big piece of that rotation. So Savon Jones, the 4th pick altogether in the first 2 days. My grade for Savon Jones, and then I'll do grades for these 3 guys or these 2 guys right here. But starting with Savon Jones specifically, since he was the last pick, I'm going to give this one like a B-, which I don't think every pick has to be an A in order for it to be positive. Personally, I would like a couple more B-minuses in college. So not a bad grade in my opinion. I think Jones is going to be a nice rotational piece. If he can pop up to like 6 sacks and, be a career path of like a John Franklin Myers, I think we'd all be very happy with that. Now, before we look at the rest of what Denver did in day 2, quick shout out to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. Greatly appreciate you supporting us. But if you haven't yet, help us reach 35,000 subscribers. Scroll on down, click the subscribe button for the best free Broncos draft content out there. So let's get back to what Denver was doing overall in day 2. But first, a shout out to our friends over at Game Time. Game Time has an awesome deal for Broncos country. They make getting tickets faster and easier, even for hard-to-get playoff seats. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to tip-off. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying NBA playoff tickets. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHAT Sports for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So looking at day 2 as a whole for the Broncos, this might be my favorite. Actually, it is my favorite pick. I know that everyone hates the guy who's a bit of a Debbie Downer during the draft, and we're all supposed to be optimistic, and we're all supposed to love every pick, and they're all going to be Hall of Famers. I don't know what to make of these. RJ Harvey is a bit of a smaller running back who's got some, good power for his size, but I would have preferred Kaleb Johnson 10 times over 10, right? Next, they took a wide receiver that no one had heard of. Pat Bryant out of Illinois. Most people thought he'd be like a round 5 guy. He's like a Cortland Sutton, like a Kirkland Sutton. I guess not the worst thing in the world, but there were better options out there. I know that Sean and George Paton know more than I do. I'm just a YouTuber. I know. You're not telling me anything I don't know. But also, are GMs and coaches always right when it comes to the draft? If I had said Paxton Lynch was a bad pick, would you say, you don't know what you're talking about. You're not smarter than the head coach of the GM. I'm going to let's go with first the RJ Harvey pick. I'll give a grade for that, and then the Pat Bryant pick. So Savon Jones, I gave a B- to. RJ Harvey, C-. I think Sean Payton's making it clear he wants to have a committee backfield. RJ Harvey can excel in one area and may not be great in other areas, but that's what you got Estime and McLaughlin for. I would have preferred to just go out and get a bell cow back. Sure, that's not what Payton wants to do, but his system hasn't worked the last 2 years. And I feel like Johnson would have been a much better solution to that problem. Then you go with a wide receiver from Illinois in Pat Bryant. I'm going to give this one a D+. I want to be wrong. I'm not rooting for them to suck, but I also don't want to just pump your tires and tell you every pick's an A. So I give this one a D+. There were receivers out there like Jalen Knoll from Iowa State, Elik Iomanor from Stanford, who I thought would have been better picks at that spot. So overall, recapping Denver's day 2, Jahdae Barron, I woke up this morning feeling more confident about than I went to bed last night thinking. I don't think tomorrow when I wake up I'll feel that same way about these picks right here. No. So I'm going to give Denver for day 2, a C-. Draft grades are dumb. They are dumb. I'm doing it and I think it's dumb. We're not going to know for another 3 years. But if you just kind of want to scratch that itch of, what do you think? I think it's a C-. I think with all 4 of these picks, it's a C. Jahdae Barron's a great best player available. These 2 I don't really like. Savon Jones at 101, that's par. So how would you grade the picks? C- for me. For day 2, altogether, I give it a C. Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. We will be back tomorrow, of course, for day 3 of the NFL Draft. So if you want more coverage on your favorite team, click that subscribe button down below. Lock yourself in for some of the best free Denver Broncos YouTube content out there. Okay. We have a few supers to catch up on, so I want to get to those supers first. Then we're going to do the race for this Browns Report hat, and then we're going to sign off. There is nothing worse than having to be the bearer of bad news in the draft because everyone tells you you're wrong. And it's like, oh, they go, you don't know. And I go, but do you know? Falcons fans are riding a high right now. Who wants to get Falcons today over $100 in Super Chats? It's at 93. For the Xavier Watts pick, someone throw a celebration super in. Jordan, why is Shedeur getting passed down? Jordan, I'm sorry to make you wait so long. I think teams are just viewing him as kind of average to mid. But even then, average to mid goes round 3 most times. So, Jordan, I wonder if people are like, we don't really want to deal with Shedeur breathing down our necks. That's really all I can offer for an explanation. I'm equally as puzzled for you as you are when it comes to him not even going in day 2 of the draft. Jordan, thank you so much for your super chat. Next one rolling in from Jay. Wake up, Falcons just picked Petey Sleepy. Yep. Sleepy Petey. Sleepy Petey Fontenot. Wakey, wakey. Trey, Falcons finally gave us a draft where we don't have to pretend to like the picks. Best Falcons all-around draft in a long time. Shout out, Terry. Fontenot cooking right now. For sure, Trey. Absolutely, I 100%, echo this message right here. Invest Guy, I'm loving the Falcons 2025 draft. I wish we could have held on to Grady Jarrett to get a run with these new young bulls on defense. But I feel like that's kind of the point is they want to turn to a younger, speedier defense. So hence the move on from some of the older guys. But from a emotional level, I hear what you're saying for sure. Invest Guy, thank you for your super chat. Next one rolling in from He's Him. Pete, you ball back in the day? I played lacrosse in high school. Played football in middle school and then freshman year, and was a lacrosse goalie for all 4 years of high school. Played out. Carson the new JOK. No, see, JOK is way faster. That's what makes JOK so special. He's kind of like a safety at linebacker. Judkins the new Chubb. Okay, fan of the new. You just like everyone. And Njoku. I don't think fans of new Njoku. Actually, Njoku's great at the catch. Maybe the last two have more traction than the first one. Okay. Corey Dots, Sawyer at 94, Milrow in the 4th. This was obviously well before those picks happened. Corey, sorry to make you wait, and sorry this did not come to fruition for you. Christopher Stofire, AB is drafting as if he knows he is the GM next year, which I appreciate. That's how all GMs should draft. Do what's best for the team, not for their own personal job, security. Thank you so much, Christopher. Ken G, what are the odds the Browns pick another quarterback if Howard or Sanders is there? Trade Pickett. No, I think they would just have 4 quarterbacks. I think just roll Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and 2 rookies, and then the top 3 make the roster, and the 4th guy's on the practice squad. I said the odds are not too low. He's him. Who should I get for my 2 jerseys? Well, he has the other one. He's upgraded the first one to Joe Flacco jersey. This is costing me a fortune. Which, not costing me a fortune, but it cost me a bunch of time. Okay. Next super chat coming in. Camden retracted it. The Browns have retaken the lead in super chats over the Broncos breakdown. My computer has completely frozen. Let's keep going on supers though. I see 2 of Falcons. Yeah, Browns $4 lead in super chats over the Broncos channel. Milvet 313 and Zenzi, who's your favorite team? I get this question, frequently. I cover 3 teams here at Chat Sports, and when you work in this capacity covering the NFL, after a little while, you just start to separate the art from the artist, and you just start to enjoy covering the NFL and not just being a fanboy. So it's a lame answer, I know that, but it is the truth. Okay. So all 3 channels, by the way, I just want to say thank you for sticking around and watching so late into Friday night. All 3 are very close to the next milestone in super chats, right? The Browns report is $12 away from 300. Falcons is $4 away from 100. Broncos is $16 away from 300. So shout out to everyone who has supported the channel. Thank you all so much for going above and beyond to, show some love to this channel. Duck race time for the Browns report hat. I'm going to slack the names to TV. No, it's okay. No, it's okay. Anyone wants to help, push those channels over the next milestone would be pretty awesome. Okay. Last call, $5 Venmo to Matthew Petey to get entered to a Browns report hat. We'd love to have a Broncos and Falcons one in the future. Ken G, Trevor B, Bain, Brett, Charlie, okay. I just slacked you the names. Is he going to go undrafted? Anyone ever pick Shedeur Sanders? Yep. We need someone to get all these channels over the next milestone. We're so close in all three. So close. Need the MVPs from all three respective channels to put their channel on the back. Like what the Falcons have done. Love what the Falcons have done. Like what the Browns have done. Meh on what the Broncos have done. That's really the short and sweet version of what's happened so far. Okay. Yep, I'm ready. So those are the names right there for the Browns Report hat. Last call. I'll give it like 30 seconds. Venmo $5 at Matthew with 2 T's, PD. 5. To get added to the Browns Report raffle hat. Yeah, I thought so. Camden with a $5 super. Camden gets the Broncos channel within $12 of 300. Thank you, Camden. Someone help Camden out. It's at 289. Got to get to 300. All right. Give it a few more seconds, and then we're going to jump into our duck race to wrap up day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. We are not even halfway done. 3 out of 7 rounds. Okay. I'm ready. Send the duckies in 3. Oh, no. They're off. Yeah, I did. Fair enough. Wi-Fi lit J, I'm going to say corner. Shedeur could go to any of the 32 teams. Like, he's just going to be like any other quarterback that gets taken in day 3. You don't need to have a need at that point. You just go, hey, it's an important position. We think he could be half decent. For the Browns Report hat, right now it's Trevor B and Ken G duking it out. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. Ken G making a push. Bain and Brett making a push. 4. Ken G wins it. Ken G, email me so I can send, or so you can email me so I can get your address, and then I can send you the hat. Let's throw up Camden Super Chat. If we don't get another Super Chat, we'll sign off. Greatly appreciate. Crockett gets Falcons today over 100. Browns and Broncos has a $1 lead, by the way, right now. Camden gets the Broncos channel to 304 with a $15 Super Chat. Browns channel 288. Last one to reach the milestone. All right. Let's throw these last few Super Chats up on screen, and then we'll sign off. Yep, Denver and Atlanta with 2 Super Chats. Great job, PD. Rise up, ATL. Crockett, thank you so much for your support. Hope you're having a good NFL draft with us. Appreciate your support. Next one coming in from DeAndre Williams. Let's go Falcons. Great draft so far. We should definitely go Ty Robinson in round 4. That's the defensive tackle he's talking about. I think it's either going to be DT or corner, but maybe Atlanta just finds another great player that falls into their lap. Maybe it's Shedeur Sanders. DeAndre, thank you so much for your super. Camden from the Broncos channel. Not a bad draft by the Broncos. Pretty good players overall. Pat Bryant, come on. I think now we're kind of reaching a little bit here. You know what I mean? I like the first pick, and I feel like it's just gotten, honestly, it went good, bad, worse, better. Camden, thank you so much. And for your 15 to get the Broncos in the lead at $304 in super chats versus the Browns at $288. So, unless someone from the Browns sends in a super chat to top that in the next 10 seconds, that's going to do it for us on our Day 2 live coverage. We've been live for how long? Ken G at 20 gives the Browns a $4 lead at the buzzer. Ken G, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Ken G from the Browns Report. All right, we've been live since 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern. 4:30 Central. We've been live for 6 hours. Been standing for 6 hours. Okay. Oh my God. 6 hours and 9 minutes. I can't wait to sit. Let's throw Ken G super. Here's to put the Browns over the top and my duck finally showing up. Ken, your ducky did come through. Happy that you were able to win that duck race. Okay. Enjoy. No, I'm not even enjoying the rest of your night. I'll see you guys bright and early tomorrow. It's 11:45 on the East Coast and 9:45 p.m. in Mountain Time. So get a good night's rest because we get going early tomorrow for Day 3 of the 2025 NFL Draft.